Dadgummit.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are with the Brandon and Alec Dadgummit podcast, and here today we have a new special guest, T. Welcome.
Oh my goodness.
Adding the stuff post.
Shut up!
Quiet you.
I had to silence him.
Excellent. The audience needs to know their place. Not you, but the audience.
Well, T, where do you hail from?
Yeah, so I was born in Thailand. I was adopted at 2.5. Then I was raised in California, up by San Francisco.
What'd you do
What did I do?
for those 2.5 years?
So
Wander the plains.
in
Silent Ronin.
it's very interesting. So in Thailand and like in Asian countries, typically like you get adopted from an orphanage. So like back in the day when China had its one-child policy, you'd have orphanages overflowing with girls.
That makes sense.
And
Of which you are not.
yes, obviously. And in Thailand, they have orphanages, but I was born in a hospital and then kept in that hospital. So the hospital is owned by the Red Cross, who the King and Queen of Thailand sponsor that hospital.
They have a monarchy?
They have a similar to England, so they have a figurehead.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. That
Yeah.
makes sense in my brain, but I just was not. I don't know. Emperor.
yes, they have a king and a queen, and then they have a parliament and everything. Because
Pretty neat.
they're pretty Western as far as like a small civilization. So I was born there, raised in the hospital with nurses, and then adopted at exactly 2.5. So April 22nd.
No way.
And then
That's my birthday.
really?
Yeah.
That's my kid's birthday too.
What?
How do we not know this? I
This
feel like
is
this
so
should have
wild.
came up.
That's weird.
Yeah, so my kid's birthday is April 22nd. My birthday is October 22nd. And my twins' birthday is May 22nd.
I love the number 2 too. It's
Yeah.
always been my favorite number.
We should get you guys tested. You
Tested?
might
Tested?
be
Yeah.
your dad.
Oh,
I am old enough at this point.
I don't think I look Asian.
You never know.
That's true. You never know.
Yeah, so I grew up in Northern California. Was in like a ultra, I would say a nice area. My wife says like when you say nice, like then she's like, well, that means you're rich. I was like, I wasn't rich. I was like, I grew up like comfortable.
Yeah.
And
That's a rich response to.
yeah, I mean we grew up comfortable.
I lived comfortably as a young adolescent.
I don't know. I definitely didn't grow up rich,
in
but I was
California.
still comfortable. It's all based on perspective.
Yeah, we were comfortable. Like
Yeah.
the area was nice.
What part of California did you say?
It's outside it's called the East Bay, so like in San Francisco Bay Area.
I only learned recently today where San Francisco is.
Really?
Yeah.
In California.
I knew it was in California. I just didn't know where. Like I thought it was like in the middle, and it's like the bottom tip, basically, is what it looked like on the map when I saw it.
No, that's a lie. It's in the middle.
Never mind.
It's like right in the middle.
Is San Diego down there?
Yeah.
I just recently learned today where San Diego was.
Yeah, San Diego's down at the bottom.
San Francisco, isn't it like the worst city
It is now. Yeah.
it's been California?
horrible. Yeah, I think people take dumps in the street and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, that's convenient.
I mean, when you gotta go, you gotta go. But like,
sure.
I don't think that's is exactly what you want.
I remember the first time I ever saw somebody publicly urinate. It changed my life.
Was it you
No. I was
in
at
your driveway after
was-
prom?
No, but I did do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that again. I've done that more than once, but not with that amount of urgency.
I mean, I've seen people urinate, like my friends urinate while we are drinking or whatever.
No, I've always peed in my backyard and my front yard, apparently. My driveway. My backyard. My now backyard.
I've seen videos of San Francisco and how bad the homeless situation is, and it's just I know it's just videos and they're filming the worst parts, but looks very bad.
What's the name of that place in I think it's San Francisco? That's like where they conglomerate, whatever it's called.
Oh, like the tent cities or whatever.
Yeah, it's like tent city. It's like slum something.
Yeah, so like
I don't remember what it's called.
just like every city, it's similar. Like to, I believe it's called the Castro district. So the San Francisco is broken into a whole bunch of districts.
Of course, it's called the Castro District.
And yeah, it's funny you say that. So the Castro district has been, and probably really the Tenderloin is like the area I think that's pretty unfortunate. But we were like 30, 40 minutes from San Francisco. So it was the area we grew up in was nice. Not like billionaire nice, but like it was nice. It was I think our big claim to fame was President Clinton played golf on the country club
That
at
makes
one
sense.
point.
He seems like the kind of person that would do that, especially in California.
Yeah.
A lot
Like-
of young women in California.
That's true. I don't know if he was just going for young women.
I don't know
Specifically.
specifically what you're talking about. Like I can't find a name
Of the
that everyone calls it.
I'm talking about the Clinton scandal with the lady that I don't remember the name of,
Monica,
Monica Lewinsky.
No, I'm talking about the slum city.
the area of
Yeah.
I think it's called the Tenderloin. If you look up the Tenderloin in San Francisco, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, but there's like a specific place that I cannot remember. That's
There, so in Seattle, there's definitely a tent city area. I've been up to Seattle.
I might be thinking
Was
of
outside
Seattle.
of Seattle for a while, and
I can't remember.
Seattle was pretty bad. We would go down to like we were walking our kids to the fish market, and the only place to park in Seattle was like
Fish market.
yeah, that's like the big famous like in what movie is that? It's like Sleepless in Seattle, right? They have the fish market.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
Tom
it's-
Hanks.
yeah,
No,
Tom
I
Hanks,
haven't-
Meg
I haven't
Ryan.
seen it.
It's a
Meg
decent-
Ryan.
yeah, it's a decent movie.
You recommend it?
I wouldn't recommend it
No.
with watching it with a female that likes those kind of movies because she'll be crying.
Oh, I'll watch it with a bro.
It's kind of a weird movie to watch with a bro. Not gonna lie, but
Yeah.
The
Test-
tenderloin.
Test your masculinity. Watch romantic comedies from the
it's definitely a rom
80s and 90s with your bros.
The tenderloin is a cultural district. Like there's a couple like homeless people in there, but it's not like the
So that's
the
where
big
like
part.
the Tenderloin is like where most of would say the prostitution back in when I grew up in San Francisco. It's been over 25 years, but before you were born, that
Yeah.
was where
That
like
was around the time I was born.
that was essentially where all the prostitution I would say ring. That's where most of the prostitution was.
Mhm.
I remember learning about prostitution in 6th grade. My teacher at the time taught us that it was legal in Nevada. And I don't remember why she brought that up, but she brought it up in our home ec class.
I think that was like a big thing. Everyone wanted to know like where prostitution was legal,
She just
so that you could go to that state.
yeah,
because
but,
you thought, man, this would be great. Like I could go.
but as a 6th grader, she was like, "You guys aren't gonna believe it." We were like, "What?" I just came back from Las Vegas in Nevada, and prostitution's legal there. We were like, "Why are you telling us?"
Did you say this was a female or a male?
This was a female teacher.
Oh.
She was like, "People just walk up and down the street. You can go and
I think the
ask them." I'm
like sixth grade is that time where you're like
that time.
realizing that you're like there's more than just just
Hide and seek
you
and
and hide and seek and
kickball.
kickball. Yeah. And then I remember in sixth grade there was a because there's no playground in sixth grade, but you all just stood around because you're too cool to like.
I didn't think about it, but yeah, we didn't have a playground.
No.
We had a backyard.
It was a big yard, right? And
Yeah.
we had
Yes.
a trash can in the middle, like this big metal trash can, and there was a print off.
You
of
play
a-
kick the can
No, we didn't play anything. We just stood around because you were too cool to do anything.
to activity.
Yeah, but someone had
Sure.
printed a picture of a vagina, right? And it was right in them, sitting
Like anatomical,
Like-
very.
just like, and everyone stood around this trash can and like pointed like, "Oh my god!" And we all were just like,
And you got those like 10 or 12 kids that are like, "The heck is that?
"Yeah, oh yeah,
What is that?
what is this?
Is
This is new."
Is that the crux of an armpit?"
It was the first like time that you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is."
That's what I'm supposed to look forward to.
We're saying the teachers know about this.
It was
How
so
big
quick.
was-
It was just like a fight in middle school. Like they're real ugly and like they don't actually happen. But
The picture of the teachers.
the picture was out there. It was just so quick. Everyone like, "Oh my gosh!" And then there's a vagina. in
What
the-
was the
in the trash
size?
can.
Was it like an 8.5 by 11?
Oh yeah, it was
it a pocket size?
full picture, and everyone stood around like, "Oh!" And the girls are,
Oh, look at it.
all the girls are disgusted, and all the guys are like, "What?" Like, there's a
So someone just a student just went out there and slapped a picture on the trash
just
can,
threw a picture at
and you guys went out for recess one day, and you're like, "What the heck?"
We were on break for lunch or whatever, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
You're not gonna believe what Teddy put on the can outside. You gotta go take a look.
Everyone's got a, like if you were, in a public bathroom and you saw like a
What?
massive turd in the toilet, would you not be impressed?
That happened so many times. In
Would
high
you not be
school.
like,
No.
"Oh my gosh! Like,
I'm
look
used-
at that! How did that come out of someone?"
That came out of someone.
Oh,
Yeah,
that looks awesome.
But you're like astonished, right? Like when you're in that grade.
I'm only astonished if it's like, if it looks like it came out of a. I don't know how to describe it.
A condom,
like a balloon
like a
animal.
balloon, What
Like
are
a
you talking about?
yeah, like a balloon. Like a pastry chefs they'll do that, and they'll like squirt a line of chocolate frosting.
You have high standards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it
You,
perfect
You
looking?
wouldn't be impressed by like a Nalgene sized turd in the shitter.
a Nalgene.
Yeah, like a Nalgene sized
Jesus
poop.
Christ, why is it that big? I guess I would be astonished. I'm astonished now.
But what would you be more astonished with? The fact that it's there or the fact that someone got it out?
What do you mean? Oh, out of them?
Yeah. Someone pushed that out of them. It was inside someone and no longer it has erupted from someone's body.
I'd be afraid to flush. Nalgene? I don't know if it would fit.
It doesn't.
know, it
that's why it's sitting there.
Yeah, that's why it sits there
it does.
for half the day, and everyone's able to
Everyone has
go in
looked
and
at
check it out.
I've
You don't
never
remember
been-
this type
I've
of like
never been through
phenomenon?
this.
It's never happened.
No, this never happened. Well,
I feel like this is a phenomenon.
Yeah,
you
if-
have to look.
I guess if it's not you, or if you don't experience it, then you were probably the problem.
What?
I feel like you have to see it though. You have to see to believe. You know what I mean? Like
Seedable.
there's
What
a
is this,
Nalgene.
Santa Claus?
There's a Nalgene poop in the.
Guys, you're not gonna believe it.
I would come out.
What did they eat?
If I came out, if I felt like I would be
If you-
depriving other people of seeing a natural phenomenon.
If
If I
you laid a
didn't-
log, you would brag.
I would not. No, I would never. No one's claiming that. Are you going to claim that you had a Nalgene come out of your body?
No, I don't want people to know that I can get that.
That's the thing.
wide.
No one ever
Right.
claimed it.
Yeah.
Like there was once that the dude, he was a good buddy of mine, and he ended
Opposite
up like,
coast, and you
Right. There's that one guy that was like, "Oh my gosh, that was me," and he's thinking about it. Like,
yeah, because he
I
just
gave-
tore his
I gave-
freaking body apart.
I gave birth to that.
Gave birth.
did it feel good? Did you ask him?
No,
What he
that's
did?
what we're saying. Is like,
No, he
that-
was not feeling
he was
good
he was
down
displeased.
there. You ever seen that South Park episode? Randy Marsh freaking is
Is
on
he-
the toilet for like an hour,
Is he the one
dropping
with the,
a log
Yeah.
like that, and then it's like the world record.
I haven't seen much of South Park.
But-
Is he the one with
but
the?
Randy doesn't try and take. He doesn't. You don't want to claim that.
Is he the balls in the wheelbarrow guy?
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of the few characters that I know.
I think it was probably the funniest movie I've ever seen was the South Park movie when it because I came out.
Oh, the
I
first
saw it in
one?
theaters. Yeah,
The uncut version
the
or
uncut,
whatever it's
yeah,
called.
bigger, better.
Yeah, bigger,
Whatever.
badder. Yeah,
And it was bigger, longer. I thought.
bigger, badder, longer.
I
Or
thought it was
something.
bigger, longer, uncut.
Yeah,
Something. I don't know.
Something.
That's where the
It's a penis joke,
Kyle's
isn't it?
mom is a big.
Yeah.
That song. That's
I
where that
haven't
seen
came
it.
from.
I remember when I was
That's-
probably in early high school. Was not exposed to a lot of cursing growing up, and so somebody at school was like, "Alec, you need to try to watch the South Park
Oh,
a show or movie. It's so funny."
I thought you were gonna say like
I
you
was
need
like-
to try swearing.
I got talked to a lot about that over the years, but they were like, "You need to watch the South Park movie. It's funny. It'll change your life." And I'm like, well, I guess I'll give it a shot. And that summer, like I was flipping through Netflix or something, and it popped up, and I was like, "Oh, no, it was Hulu." I was flipping through Hulu, and I was like, "Oh shoot, it's on here." So I clicked on it, and I watched the first 10 minutes, and I couldn't do it.
really?
I couldn't do it.
Oh my goodness.
The Canadians, like I think it was like
Yeah.
the intro is the Canadian movie. I'm
Yep.
like, I don't have enough desensitivity to curse words yet.
That's
for me
literally
to,
the worst part of the movie
for
is
me to-
like
for me to
that
suffer.
scene.
through
That first,
this.
yeah, that first 10 minutes.
that's what the whole movie is about, like trying to get rid of that movie, and it's like a terrible thing for the children or whatever.
Like I tried. I really tried. I was like, I'm not skipping through a movie because that's just stupid. And like I literally watched 5 minutes in 2 separate increments of a total of 10 minutes. I was like, I can't do this. There's no way I can get past it. Maybe I'll give it a try now that I've been much more exposed
Yeah,
to words over the years.
I love the South Park series. It's hilarious. I mean, like it's it's raunchy and it's bad in that area, but like it's so funny, and they don't care who they hit.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of if you're okay with, and I think that was why SNL back in the day was okay, was because it didn't care who it was attacking; it would
Mhm.
attack everyone. But now it's
Yeah, it's pretty one-sided.
pretty
now.
one-sided, unfortunately. Because and I think that's the way of the world now.
I never really got into SNL. I like the
I like the old SNL.
Yeah,
I haven't really seen any of it, but the clips that I have seen that I really like is the Che, and I think his name's Che and something.
The newscasters.
Yeah, the newscasters where they write each other's
I
jokes.
know exactly. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you were going there. That is the funniest
Yeah.
part of like what they do nowadays. Like
And,
SNL is just not what it used to be.
Norm Macdonald's news episodes also I
Mhm.
liked. I've seen clips of those. And I
There's so
thought those
many
were funny,
comedians that got their start
but that was
on
about it.
oh yeah,
SNL, like
yeah, like Will Ferrell,
Jim
and
Carrey,
Jim Carrey, all-
Chris Farley.
rest in peace.
Yeah,
Shout out to Chris Farley.
I don't know. There's so many good skits, old skits. Adam Sandler got really popular on SNL.
yeah, that was where I think all the guys that are big still now
Mhm.
started out on SNL,
Yeah.
especially with those skits. They were just, and now that I think Adam Sandler has his own movie company or movie production studio.
Oh,
Does he
Happy
own-
Madison.
Does he
Yeah,
own
yeah.
Happy Madison?
I'm pretty sure he does.
I didn't know that.
He has to. Like, I don't know for sure, but
He's
like,
been in
he
every
must.
one
It-
of their movies.
he must.
He must because he's
simply
got
must.
too many. He's got so many movies that he's been in, and then he puts his wife and kids in them.
He puts his kids in them. I know his wife's been in a few. I don't remember anything about her though.
I'm pretty sure his wife and his kids are in a ton of them. There was like did you see his Halloween movie?
Hubie.
Yeah, his kids are in
Yeah.
them. I think he's got like $2 or $3.
I saw it when it came out. I haven't seen it since.
And I know his wife's in it. So, and then the lady from Happy Gilmore, she's the
Oh,
other mom.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's
Happy
been
Madison
so
was
long, I
founded by
can't remember.
actor and comedian Adam Sandler on December 10th, 1999. He's also the CEO and co-owner of Happy Madison.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, which must have been his first movie. Must have been then either Happy Gilmore or was it? I think Waterboy's too late, but
His first movie.
his first like Adam Sandler Happy Madison movie, because I think The Wedding Singer is too old for that.
Yeah, I would also think that. Big Daddy.
Going Overboard.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Going Overboard, I thought was way before Happy Madison. I thought that was his first movie, like ever.
Yeah.
No, he's
That's
talking
what I
about
looked up.
the first Happy Madison movie.
Oh.
Yeah, Going Overboard is definitely way too old. I tried to watch it. It's not nearly as funny. What does that say?
Deuce Bigelow, male.
Oh,
Gigolo.
Is he in that? I thought that was just.
Was that just Rob Schneider?
Yeah, Rob Schneider. I thought that was just him.
Yeah.
No. What? Deuce Bigelow. Yeah, I guess it was just him. It was.
Yeah, 'cause I don't remember really any other male actors being in that movie except him. Because it was about him courting
Yeah, he's not in it.
mostly disfigured women, from what I remember. Like there was a woman who was an actual giant. There was a woman who had a penis for a nose.
Yeah, he was a gigolo. So like,
It's
that
like all
was-
sorts of weird stuff.
Seems like we're circling around the prostitution.
yeah. Sorry. So
Amsterdam.
Oh,
It
I don't
happens.
care. There's Nevada's wild.
I've never been that far west.
They've like
No,
No, not even close.
I feel like you're missing out.
I think the closest or the furthest west I've been. I need to look at a map. Which is further, Michigan or Illinois?
Illinois.
But
Oh.
not by much.
Illinois then is probably the furthest
It's like
west
a
I've
whole
been.
state further.
It's just south of Michigan.
Well, Ohio's mostly under Michigan.
I've been to Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, and
That's the
in-
farthest?
in that direction. Yeah, that's the farthest I've been.
Oh my gosh.
I've been to Eastern Tennessee, which I don't think is further west than
No.
Michigan. I was in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I've really only been north,
Yeah, I've been to Alaska. Like,
and I've been south, but only like directly south of where we're at. So I've been like to the bottom tip of Florida, but I haven't been to
it's
the
not west.
upper. Yeah, I haven't been to the upper tip of Maine.
there's a whole nother country, like the rest of the
There's a
country. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole nother.
I haven't
country.
explored
There's
the
so
actual
much.
frontier yet.
Yeah.
I hope to one day. It'd be pretty cool. I'd like to see the
Farthest west.
Dakotas.
Is the Navajo Nation down in Arizona, New Mexico.
Where?
Navajo Nation.
That's where you've been?
That's
the
the farthest
furthest
west I've been.
Yeah, nowhere close.
It was very cool.
I couldn't even tell you where the Navajo were from.
Never knew that there was a nation inside of the United States.
Well, yeah, there are tons of tribes.
But like they have
they're
their
considered
own
the symbol of
government.
the government. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought all the tribes had their own government on the reservations. I thought that's how that was the deal.
Oh, I don't know. It could be. But that was my first experience too. It was like my junior year of high school. We went on a mission trip there. It was very cool.
Mission trip?
Mhm.
What do you
Like a church mission trip.
what do you do to them?
Any other mission trip, you just go.
Yeah,
you
but
like,
they're not impoverished,
you
right?
go do.
They are.
Yeah.
They are? Like
Oh yeah. Have you
I-
ever been to reservations?
I
yeah,
always
reservations are pretty bad.
I've never been to a reservation, but I've only been the one reservation that I've been to was in Michigan. I don't know if you would consider it one, but it was like where the Indian casino was. But I don't know what tribe is up there.
I don't know.
And in my mind, I always figured they were like Amish. I don't know why. Like they just kind of, they got their own people, their own little clan, and they live in an area that the government says this is yours, and then they just, do whatever.
They
Yeah,
live
but
like
they
normal.
have no. They have no GDP,
Mhm.
so they don't have like the only GDP they
They
have
don't
is the
sell
casinos.
anything. Like
Well,
not even like
They still
crops?
they still live like there's stores, there's businesses on the reservation. Like it's pretty Americanized. Like it's not what you think it is. Not like Navajo
Yeah, I think you can go down
living
to
in huts and stuff. Like they're just living in houses, like
Hudson?
working huts,
huts.
like working in businesses, like still interacting with the rest of America. It's just their own country.
yeah. They have their own police. Like you should go down to Cherokee, North Carolina.
I've
They
been
have-
to Cherokee.
So that's an Indian reservation.
Oh, then I've
You've been to
then
Cherokee.
I've been,
So
I've been
they
to Cherokee a few times.
and they have the casino, which is what makes most of their money. But it doesn't. Just like every government is relatively corrupt, so they don't pass it down to their citizens. And
The
I-
casinos? I thought that was like the whole deal.
I mean, that's the whole deal. But I mean, and that's why they do it. But it's the tribesmen are making and keeping all their money.
The elders.
Yeah, and
I think
I
that's what
think
they call 'em.
it's really unfortunate, right? So the issue with the Indian population is that they try to keep the Indian blood within their tribe, so they
They don't
they
out.
I
yeah,
would say interbreed.
outbreed.
So a lot of the problems that they have with Indian blood is that it's all
Commingling?
ancestral almost, because there's not a huge pool of people that are
I never really thought about
Native
it.
American. Like
They don't like. What do you call it?
they don't.
What you doing?
What import? They don't import like
No,
other Indians from
No,
other
they-
tribes
because they
Like,
hate other tribes.
Mm.
Typically, there's a lot of inner fighting between tribes.
they're not gonna last if they keep that up.
Well, of course not. But that's why I would say they hate. There's like a hatred towards the white man. You know what I mean? From Native Americans, and it's taught in their schools that like the white man came and stole their land, and they were here first, and that's why we changed instead of Columbus Days. Now it's
Indigenous
Indigenous
Peoples Day.
People Day. Yeah, because the Indians hate the people that came and took their land.
I was always taught Columbus Day was like a Italian holiday, and that's why we kept it.
That's a good point. It is. It actually is.
But a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. I'll look it up.
An
gonna be
Italian
a-
holiday.
Yeah,
It
it's like
is.
what do you call it?
Looked this up before.
That way that I can get my ignorance out and you can prove me wrong. So it's like the Italians that were over here that lived in New York or whatnot. The president at the time, which I think was not Roosevelt. I can't remember his name right. Woodrow. I think Woodrow Wilson. It was around his time. He made Columbus Day to like kind of celebrate Italian American heritage. That would give them like boost their morale as a people. And then decades later, people were like, Columbus was a genocidal, warmongering, disease-carrying conquistador that destroyed a bunch of people in the U.S.
I mean that's
they tried to
true
get rid
for
of it.
every conquistador /
Yeah,
conqueror.
Anybody
in
that comes from one
history.
place to another place, your disease and war is gonna happen.
I
At
mean,
least back then.
in Europe, they did it for years, and I would say the biggest conquistador, if you were to say it would be, definitely in China. They came from because Russia was really not like the Mongolians essentially destroyed China.
Yeah. I've been listening to a podcast lately. Shout out to I'm not gonna give the name of it.
Okay. I'm not shouting out.
And not a shout out.
Shout out to podcasts in general. Where they talk about like the one I just listened to was on Marco Polo and his father, which I can't remember the name of his father right now. Frank Polo. His name wasn't Frank, but I can't remember his name. And they talked a lot about the cons during Marco Polo's adventures throughout the Mongol Empire and Italy and Europe. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean Napoleon did the same thing, like right. So he essentially owned all of Europe until he couldn't make it into Russia.
Yeah.
Because no one, and really obviously no one has made it into Russia, just based on this terrain and
Winters.
the winters, right? So like I would say that even if us as the U.S. tried to attack Russia in the middle of, there's no way you could, because it's too
Right now, I think we'd have a pretty big shot. They've been weakened a lot over other current events.
As far as like a ground assault, I don't think you would ever make it's all about supplies and I don't think we have the infrastructure to send out and support supplies to. The further out you go, the less supplies you can get, and that was part of the reason why Germany had such an issue. Is you can only give people meth so long.
That's true. You can only give people meth so long.
Then they can't make it on just meth.
Okay. Italian Americans, leaders of Kingdom of Italy, were outraged by the mass lynching. Italy broke off diplomatic relations and recalled its ambassador from Washington, D.C. Basically, Italians were really, what does it say?
This is riveting.
I don't know, but basically because of Italian hate in New York City in like 1920s, like early 1900s.
Like the Irish.
The New York government like instilled Columbus Day to like make them feel better. And then eventually like
It's pretty
the
close.
Catholics lobbied in Washington, D.C. to get the president to make Columbus Day a national holiday.
What was the president? I hope
So
I
there
was
was-
right on all.
There was it says at least 40 lynchings. On U.S. soil.
I asked about the president.
Hmm?
What president was it?
Dang it. Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Dang it. I said
In
not Roosevelt.
1934, the Knights of Columbus authorized President Franklin D. Roosevelt to declare October 12th designated date. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like people lobby to get rid of Columbus Day because they're celebrating, whatever Columbus did. A lot of people don't like that, but a lot of
they're fighting
Italians don't like it.
the wrong thing.
Yeah, a lot of Italians like see that as an attack against them because it's like their only holiday.
Well, I mean, it's who the most upset people are is probably not the Native Americans. It's probably white liberal. Right?
Yeah. People that say that
'cause
they're
people don't- that
protecting
don't-
them.
Have you ever
Like have any skin in the game.
so like Land O'Lakes? They get rid of the Native American.
Oh
picture,
yeah,
like-
on it.
I
Mhm.
miss Land O'Lakes.
Well, like it's like with all
Aunt
these like
Jemima.
Aunt Jemima, Big
Mhm.
Ben. Like
Mhm.
they just remove
Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben. Yeah.
Big Ben. Yeah, it's just like the saying goes, right? Like take the land, get rid of the Indian. They kept the land, the
Yeah.
lakes, and they got rid of the Indian.
That's so
That's-
sad.
It is. It's like you go so far woke. that
Oh,
you-
and the
you just-
Chief Wahoo, right? Wasn't that the name of the Indian?
yeah,
What on the land of
on the
lakes?
Land O'Lakes. Yeah.
No, on I thought Chief Wahoo was the formerly Redskins mascot.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
Wasn't his
don't
name
know.
Chief
Yeah.
Wahoo?
Well, now it's the Washingtons, right? So
Yeah,
What's the Washington
watching Commanders.
Commanders? Yeah,
I heard a lot of people.
I thought it was the Guardians.
Well, specifically, I heard that like Native Americans were like upset that
Yeah,
they
'cause
took
they-
away the
why,
Redskins.
why would they get rid of the Redskins? Like
Dude,
Like, what the heck?
you're getting rid of all of our representation. We don't have
the
butter.
same with the land
We
of
don't have
lakes.
football.
I heard that same negative backlash about like Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben and everything.
I miss Uncle Ben.
I don't know. It just seems like that kind of thing. Like if I actually hear it coming from that group of people, that's one thing. But like it's not the outcry and the hate against these symbols is coming from a
People that
group
are-
that's not representing
Yeah,
them.
relatively unaffected
Right,
by
yeah.
anything going on.
It's white people trying to like protect a group of people that doesn't need protecting.
right. It's like Elizabeth Warren, who's
Yeah,
less Native American than I think. I think
Probably
she's
all of them.
less Native American than 50% of the United States.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't they released her record or something? It was like 0.8%.
It's like 1 in 52, 152nd Native American, which is
What?
less
A
than
little under 2%.
less than
1%.
most of the country.
1.5%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Most of the country is more Native American than Elizabeth Warren. but she got a scholarship, so good on her. I mean, like,
That means I could have gotten
you
one.
make up whatever you want.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. Get to do that 23andMe. Gotta
Yeah.
find out what you are.
Now, if you
That would
used,
be ideal.
if you use 23andMe though, now the government can use that DNA to figure out if you've created a murder, because that's essentially how they've figured out some of these murders.
Created a I haven't murdered
if you've
anybody
done,
that I'll
yeah,
admit
if you
to.
murdered someone and you have DNA from back in the day, they were using 23andMe or Ancestry.com to, go through that DNA chains, and were able to pinpoint the person.
Is this a problem for you?
This
Plan
might-
on murdering anyone?
I mean, it might be a problem for me later.
Down the road.
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
I like to keep my options open. Like I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 3 decades from now.
I don't understand the whole. Everyone is like very worried about this privacy, like their privacy. Like, oh, I don't want so and so knowing what I'm searching on the internet, or
Yeah, they
Yeah.
already know, dude.
it's like
I definitely
I
don't want that.
I don't care. Like, what are you searching that is going to get you in trouble? If you're searching for something that is probably going to get you in
Yeah,
trouble, then
if you're looking up bombs, like,
then you probably
bombs,
should get found out.
then I feel like you should be on the FBI, watch list. But if you're looking up, like, when did Billy Madison, when did Adam Sandler create Happy Gilmore? Like,
Yeah,
that's
I find out my knowledge accidentally, and I don't ever search up things intentionally that could get me in trouble.
I mean,
no,
it's just like YouTube, right? So like you go down those rabbit holes of YouTube. Like if you watch YouTube long enough and then continues like making you new suggested videos, like they get weird.
They do
Yeah.
get weird.
And if you start looking up those things, I'm sure that it goes down rabbit holes. But those people aren't typically like curious, I would say, about attacking U.S. citizens.
no.
And that was the whole point of the idea behind watching your people.
Yeah, sometimes I just like to know things. Doesn't mean I'm going to do anything with that knowledge, but I don't want you to know that I'm curious about it.
So you have a VPN and everything?
Who?
Do you have a VPN and everything?
I don't believe in whatever that means.
Virtual private network.
Who?
It keeps people from gathering information. Like, it's a private network. Like, you can't.
I've heard
Be
that, but
tracked.
I don't. I'm not tech savvy.
It's
I don't know what
have to
any of
be.
that means.
It also
just, like-
slows down your internet, I think.
I didn't
You
jump
just
on the
pay
Bitcoin
for someone
train.
to you just pay a company to host a private network for you. So
Pay?
and then you can
Never mind.
make yourself
I'll just look it up.
appear wherever you want. So like you can make yourself be Googling something in the UK or another country.
I can make them look like terrorists.
Yeah, but then the problem is that then your search results are weird and you get things from like
Yeah.
odd spots.
But you can get access to like forbidden like TV shows in the US, like, and they're not
What do you mean forbidden?
like TV shows that they won't
What show is forbidden?
allow us to watch or whatever.
What? We have unallowable watched TV shows?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's with every country, right?
It's every
so like
country.
China does.
We have those?
If you don't think the U.S. government like
I thought
keeps
we
us
could watch
from
whatever we
things outside of the U.S., you're crazy.
I know. I remember when I was
It's just like China
a young boy,
and Russia.
there was a movie I watched that was banned in 17 countries. And I really regret watching that movie.
It was banned for a reason.
Yeah, it was banned for a reason, and I wish I had not watched it.
What
Was
movie?
it terrifying?
It wasn't. It was gruesome. It was very gruesome.
What movie?
It was called. I think it was called Circus of Freaks. Is what it was called.
Yeah, it was probably weird.
It was weird.
I'm interested now.
I'm sure it was weird. And
If you like horror movies or gore or really messed up things,
was it like a Rob Zombie movie?
I don't know who that is, but no, I don't think it was Rob. No, it wasn't a Rob Zombie movie, but Circus of Freaks, I think is what it's called, and that's probably the worst R-rated movie I've ever watched. If you pull up the pictures of it, I can tell you because I remember the what do you call it? Cover art? No, that's Cirque du Freak. That's a different thing.
It looks like a vampire movie.
Yeah, that's a vampire movie, but no. No. Here, let me scroll. Let me drive. Oh, this is it. Freak Show. That's what it is. Freak Show.
Freak Show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't like that movie.
I'm sure there's like reasons why obscene gore is banned.
Oh,
like,
it's worse than Saw. It's a lot worse than
Horror indie.
yeah. I've seen
Banned in 43 countries.
43. Never mind. It's a lot more than 17.
Oh, it has very low ratings.
Yeah, it's
I'm sure at
I
some point that's not. It
I-
becomes non-artistic. You know what I mean? Like the idea.
there's nothing artistic about it. I'm never gonna watch it again. Shout out to the person who showed me that
and
movie. You
even
know
on
who you are.
even on the cover, it says banned in 43 countries. Like
Yeah,
there's a reason for it.
They
like,
let you know.
Yeah, they're like advertising it. They're like proud of it.
yeah,
The person,
like it's too gory for anyone to watch.
yeah, the person that introduced it to me is the type of person that loves those kinds of movies and wanted me to watch it with this person. I don't want to gender them because this person knows who this person is.
Okay, so you could gender them.
I could, yeah.
No, you can't.
I don't make assumptions.
Um,
I only assume.
oh, dang it. You led me off my trail.
Led you off your trail.
Whatever.
Hippity hoppity.
All right, so I brought a whole bunch of topics to talk about.
Oh crap.
Oh, yeah.
Where are they? Pull them. Pull them out, young man.
Whatever you want to do,
Okay.
you can roll the dice.
Roll the dice. Roll the dice, young man.
What's your, we'll go around. What's your favorite conspiracy theory, Alec?
Oh crap. Favorite conspiracy theory. The one
I love these.
the one that comes to mind that whenever somebody asks me like what's your favorite conspiracy theory, that it's not that I do believe in it, but it's very easily provable, but they won't let me do it. Like not me, but like they won't do it.
They won't let me do it.
They won't let me get the tools. Is crap, what's his name? Justin Trudeau being the son of Fidel Castro. I'm not saying I believe it, but man, there is a lot of hard evidence that proves it.
Like what?
So without like citing sources or anything, because I hate citing sources because it makes me look too smart.
What?
So Fidel Castro, or sorry, so Justin Trudeau, I don't remember how old he is, but he was conceived a little after the height of Castro's like power. Fidel Castro's, or not Fidel, Justin Trudeau's mom was a big political, what do you call it? Not diplomat, but like, I guess diplomat's like the closest word I can think of, where she would go to and from Canada and Cuba. And she apparently was like big friends with Fidel Castro and was often away from her husband, spending time with the Castros and the family and whatnot. And then mysteriously she conceived or she got pregnant, and it was like this doesn't really line up with when she was known to be with her husband at the time, but it does line up to around the time when she was hanging out with Castro in Cuba, like doing who knows what. And so she got pregnant mysteriously, gave birth, and then as Justin Trudeau is growing up, it's like, huh. There's a lot of like really weird similarities in their face structure and the way they look. And also he looks nothing like his father and very little like his mother. And it's like, how does this happen? And so more people over time have been like, pretty sure Fidel Castro is the actual father of Justin Trudeau because there's not a lot of lineups between him and his perceived father and a little bit of his perceived mother. But I'm not going to go into deep detail about everything, but if you look it up, it's an incredible conspiracy theory that I would love to go into detail about.
I think it's true too. I'm a no. I definitely I've heard it, and you can look at the pictures, and I would argue that
It's hard to suggest otherwise.
it is. There's a lot of like when we look at like facial recognition software, it typically doesn't go off of your face. It goes off of your ears, because your ears don't change
Yeah, they just get
over
bigger.
time. Yeah, and they get bigger, but they're pretty constant in comparison. Like similar to like your teeth molds, right? So like your dental molds are pretty obvious. And that's typically how we do a lot of DNA research for like people that have deceased. So if you look at the pictures and look at the way his ears are and the way Fidel's ears were, there's a lot of similarities there. Obviously, his facial structure is very similar, but no, I definitely don't disagree that there's probably some link, but obviously, I'm unable to be proven unless someone.
Oh, it's provable.
It is, but unless you go take the DNA sample.
Yeah, that's like the like this could be solved.
It could be
a couple weeks. All we need is Castro DNA. Really, don't even need him. Just need his like actual son or his like proven son.
Yeah.
Who is now I think the leader of Cuba, and then just Trudeau, and then see if they're brothers. That's not that hard to do.
Yeah. Good luck.
But they won't.
Good
let
luck getting
us.
his DNA.
They won't let us.
Yeah, I don't think that's probably gonna happen. All right, Brandon, what's yours?
I'm gonna take a break.
Now?
Yeah.
Son of a bean.
All right, back to these conspiracy theories. Because I really want to know what yours is that you said it was proven correct.
Oh, yeah.
It's no longer a conspiracy.
We're going to wait on this guy.
My bad.
Is it your grandma?
Is he messaging?
Don't worry about it. Anyway, where are we at?
Yeah, conspiracy theories. Yeah, so
yeah, your theory.
I was just like looking through a couple that were like actually proven to be true. And the weirdest one I found was Canada had a gaydar
Back to Canada?
back in the 1950s.
Okay.
Canada really didn't like homosexuals in like the 1950s, 1960s.
Sorry.
And they developed what they called a gaydar.
What?
And they would hook up people to a machine that would sense your pupils, your blood pressure, your heart rate.
What if you looked at other men?
They would put pictures of
No.
enticing men and women in front of you and see how you respond.
Awesome.
And you would get put on a list.
A list.
If you were like in the medium range, like they were like questioning whether you were into it, you would be put on a list.
Maybe he's one of them bicicletas.
If you were proven to be gay, they would kick you out of the country.
That's real?
Yes. Yeah.
What?
No.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
I feel like you're lying, though.
Of all the places to expect that from, I would not have thought Canada.
It just seems so ridiculous. Did they do it to everyone? Like, how many people?
How many
it was like
would it-
6.
How many people?
So
did
they
it test?
specifically went for people that were working in the government.
Oh yeah, I think I do. Didn't we do that in?
This was just a list website, so
What is
you
this,
might want to.
Spotify.
You might actually want to like look it up on Google separately from the list that I have pulled up there.
Didn't we also do
Yeah,
that?
it's like
in
a
the
Reddit
US?
thing.
Yeah, I'll pull it up on a actual thing.
Didn't we do that in the U.S.? Isn't there a movie out like right now or about to come out with not Henry Cavill? I can't remember his name, but he looks a lot like him.
Oh, I remember what it's called. It's called The Fruit Machine.
Incredible name.
Their Wikipedia. That's truthful.
Isn't there a movie about the CIA out that's like about to come out that's about this exact topic? About a CIA agent that is a closeted homosexual?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything.
Maybe that's just a minor thing about it. I can't remember his name, but he looks like Henry Cavill in my brain, but it's not him. I know it's not.
I mean, another crazy thing involving the U.S. government is that it's probably well known, but the government was poisoning people during the Prohibition, knowingly.
Oh yeah, they were tainting the
The alcohol that
yeah
they
with
sold.
methanol. I think instead of
Yeah.
ethanol, they were putting methanol in it, which was making people really sick, making people like
Could
go
you believe
blind.
it?
I mean, it's interesting. I believe that it's probably something that governments do to people. It doesn't put it like the more I read that it's a government thing against their own employees. Like the governments of every country has been pretty sketch. And if you had said it was the U.S., it wouldn't be surprising me.
Yeah.
It just is weird because it's from Canada.
We
Mhm.
did the opposite of that.
What
The
do you mean?
U.S.
How do you do the opposite?
You try to make people gay.
I
I
mean,
think
like turning the frogs gay?
Yes,
Alex Jones?
that's a real thing. Anyway, we can go into that later. But the that's a very long conversation as to why that's actually true. But the I think it was either World War One or World War Two. You can look this up because this is like verifiable. The U.S. Developed a weapon that we were going to use. I think it was World War Two because I'm pretty sure we were trying to use it during the or against the Germans, and I believe it was the Nazi Germans, not World War One Germans. But
Was that the
yeah,
oven?
that was the oven. What do you want to do?
Go ahead.
So the wait, go ahead and talk or go ahead and go.
Finish.
Finish, finish, please. It's good, sir. Yeah. So World War II era Germany, I'm pretty sure. The U.S. developed a weapon. It was a more or less, from what I remember, like a gas bomb. They would drop it over enemy camps of these Germans, and it was a bomb that was called. I think they called it literally the gay bomb. And I don't remember if it ever actually got any use, but
I'm looking this up.
the theory behind the look up like U.S. gay bomb or something like that. But so the bomb's purpose was to drop this smoke that contained pheromones that would scientifically make somebody incredibly aroused. And so the idea was if we dropped it over these male dominated camps, these pheromones that were like severe aphrodisiacs, the men would basically become so aroused that they would lose focus on anything else and they would start to intermingle and it would weaken them detrimentally, especially during war or battles during wartime. And I don't know if it ever got any actual use, but there was a lot of development put into it. And it's one of my like I love looking into weird weapons of war throughout history, especially ones that you'd be like, that can't be right. But the gay bomb's real, as well as the bat bomb. The bat bomb's something else too.
Like after listening to the history, so I follow this another podcast. It's like a history of World War II, and it goes pretty far back into World War II history. And there's so many things that we did during World War II.
Oh yeah, it was like an experimental battleground.
Yeah, we just used as many new technologies as we could to.
No idea was considered a dumb idea.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It was I would say it was brilliant. It was why we probably have the things we have now. It's because we used the technology from war, and that's why the U.S.
Yeah.
loves going to war because it promotes, or I would say, a renaissance
Ingenuity.
of ingenuity.
Free
And
testing ground.
Ingenuity,
it is.
innovation.
It's a free testing ground and no holds bar for us to use our own weapons that we've been thinking of.
And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of weapons of war, like, yeah, its purpose is to do this one thing, but there are a lot of facets to do that one thing that they can utilize for other things.
There
Bless
is,
you.
and I don't think that
Thanks.
war is obviously great in its purpose, but we found that the war machine, the big money makers is to go to war because there's so much. It stimulates an economy, and that's why we've done it over and over. My favorite, I would say, my favorite conspiracy is the idea of whether or not 9/11 was true.
That's
This-
a touchy subject.
And I guarantee you that it's a touchy subject of, I think it's why Tucker Carlson got fired.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of you have to look at it as a whole day because you couldn't blame the World Trade Center is like obviously a plane crashed into them. Like there are some obvious things that happened, but there are less obvious things like the Pentagon, right? We found zero plane plane debris by the Pentagon. We found almost zero debris in Pennsylvania, and they made that movie Flight 93 about
Yep.
the heroism that happened during that flight that brought it down. I don't know if it was actually in Pennsylvania necessarily, but I would say if we're saying that the government doesn't lie to you daily, like that's we are mistaken. So if there and we say like, oh, there's no way because people, we sign NDAs and people talk all the time. Like, absolutely, people talk all the time. But it's when too many people know, it gets out. But when not as many people know, right, it's an easier cover up. So do I think that we may have hurt our own selves to get into war to find weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist? Like, no. Do I think that we are willing to sacrifice our own people as the United States? Yes. Like, absolutely. I think the CIA is as corrupt as it comes, and we have put people in power in multiple countries to elicit the response that we want, similar to, our own. If you look at the war in Ukraine, we put Zelensky in power. Like that was our doing as a CIA. We've done that, for years, years and years, and it has bit us. We've put support behind people by giving them weapons under the table. Like, think about the Obama, right? There was the big scandal with him and giving whatever country it was firearms, and they figured it out, and then the news ran with it. But I think there's been plenty of times where we have been behind, or the CIA specifically has been behind, trying to control world populations, and then that I would say that leads into the other conspiracy of that we have been trying to control world population to a very big extent with with COVID, and with if COVID didn't kill them, then the COVID shot that killed them, right? Like there's a lot of we are the only country that has an FDA that requires the food that we create to be approved by the FDA. We were talking about that before, right?
Mhm.
Because specifically with Europe, right? They don't, you can go kill a goat right down the street and then bring it to the restaurant. Whereas we cannot do that here. There's a lot of we say farm to table. Those farm to table restaurants are very far and few between, and we as a society have just been accepting of what we get in what we receive from the government, and I think the government has way more day-to-day control than you realize, and yet you never see them. Right? I heard this reel on Instagram the other day. Right? It says like I don't interact with the government except for one time, twice a month when I receive my paycheck, and I
Yeah.
realize that they've taken
I saw the same
money
thing.
out of my account because they've they've decided to show up, and if I don't pay enough, then they'll come get me in a year because they'll tell me how much I need to pay.
Hmm.
And I think that's, we have a government that is overreaching, and it's really why I've become more and more constitutionalist, is because I feel like the government is bound by the Constitution, and we, as a people, have allowed them to overreach uh, what they can do, and what their powers is authorized them to do. And the government promotes, uh, you know, they like promoting the instability amongst the country because the divide. Uh, you know, we've promoted radicalism in a lot of ways, and it's not just you know we say George Soros is a bad guy, and he promotes radicalism, but it's the government is allowed for those things because and they like that division because it allows for control of one group or the other group.
Hmm.
Similar to you know the I would say the transgender movement. And you can be whatever you want at home. It's about, I would argue that transgender people will not create offspring, and it's about creation of. At the end of the day, it's all about population control. If
Hmm.
you can't, if you can control who is reproducing by supporting whatever thing you need to, whether it's transgenderism or you know putting adjusting the food so that you can't have kids, like or adjusting. We didn't have, just like RFK's talked about with with vaccines, right? We never had, back in the day. I don't remember, even as a kid when I was growing up, I don't remember having a ton of ADHD and like autism. And this is only 40 years ago, right? So like, whereas nowadays you have ADHD in every classroom. Like,
Yeah.
oh, some kids ADHD. Like, what kind of overproduced thing, right? The more we rely on, the more that the government ensures that people are reliant on medication, the easier it is to control them with medication.
Hmm.
And the more that people say, hey, you're going to be reliant on getting this shot to continue your daily life, the easier it is to control a population. So the population control, whether it's the growth of the population or control of the population, it's really what it's all about, is controlling the population to do what you want. I think Italy just said they just banned Bill Gates's. Um, I think he was creating like a fake meat, and Italy just banned that completely. I think that's the.
Oh yeah.
I
Yep.
don't know if you read about that, but
Yeah. The
I
meat that
have
they're
I haven't heard
processing
about
or
it.
whatever. Hmm.
yeah. So that I think there's a lot of people, ideally, right, that are starting to realize and wake up uh, to that idea, and I would almost guarantee that America slash some big entity had a huge portion of the play in the Chinese one child rule, right? Right, China's now suffering because they cannot maintain their population because they only had one child, and
They wanted it all to be boys.
right, so the orphanages were filled with girls. My sisters are all adopted from China, and it was mostly girl. I would say 9 out of 10 times it was all girls
Hmm.
and females in these orphanages because no one wanted to have a female because they couldn't carry the name. And you know we as a society knew that China would essentially either abort or throw away these children at a very young age. So I think we we have, as a whole society, have been very prone to trying to control this population of people. And whether it's the U.S. or U.S. government or whatever entity is pulling those strings, I think that's the most interesting conspiracy. And you can see I think conspiracies just in general, if you look at, uh, you follow the strings, similar to what you're saying, right? Like the the fruit bar, whatever it
The fruit
was,
machine.
the fruit machine, right? Someone's going to pull the string, and that string you can pull from, and you can ask those people, is that they let it become too known. Whereas like things like Pizzagate or like a lot of these conspiracies, like the UFO conspiracy, right? Like
Yeah.
you let too many people know, and then it becomes second nature. Like the government said there were UFOs, and no one was like, what? Like no one was like, no fucking way. Like there's a UFO, like there's alien. So you're telling me there's aliens? Like, and now we just live with the fact that there's UFOs in the world. Like, have you ever thought like
Well, yeah,
that's weird?
yeah. I mean,
Do you mind if I go put in the thing?
yeah. Go ahead.
Are you gonna keep talking?
Yeah.
Son of a bean.
No, they
Taking this out?
no,
What?
no, they were just like, yeah, there's a possibility that there's aliens. We're gonna look into it or whatever. But the amount of stuff that the government says nowadays, like I don't think it got a reaction that it should have, because there's so much bull crap that comes out of the government's mouth.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like no one believes it. And that's a problem when you can't trust your government to say something like, yeah, there's a possibility of aliens or whatever.
Yeah. The famous words of "we're the government, we're here to help" are like supposed to be the most dangerous words
Yeah.
in history that's ever been spoken. Right. Like
Mhm.
that's the truth. Right. We uh, rely on the government to give us things. Right. Money, social welfare, programs. We have the police. We have the fire department. Uh, and those are all social programs to support the citizens. But then at the same time, we expect that the government also isn't doing shady things behind our back, right? We tried to shut down Guantanamo Bay because we thought that there was terrible things happening in Guantanamo Bay, but like that's the least of our worries, right? Like
Yeah.
I would say Guantanamo Bay is just a snapshot of the atrocities that are occurring. If we're talking about like being the police worldwide, like I would say there are atrocities happening in other countries. Like, we call Sudan a failed state for a reason because there's just atrocities happening, in to people, and we, stand by and are okay with those things as a population because it's not in front of us. Similar to what just happened to Israel. Like we say, and whether you have an opinion on which side or one side or the other, whether we say that Israel was the attacker or the Palestinians or the Hamas was the attackers, right? Like we stood by and assumed that we have stood by for years on one side or the other, and let those things occur. And obviously the Palestinians, um, the Hamas people themselves are, I would, under the classification of what we call a terrorist, are absolutely terrorists,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And we've protected the state of Israel for years. I think the the we are required to as a humankind, based on essentially what the Bible talks about, right? If you look at what the Bible says, it says once the West turns its back on the state of Israel, then we will essentially we're going to have revelations
Yeah.
come down and destroy all of humankind.
Yeah.
So it's obviously written, and it's been written for thousands of years, and it was, and whether we interpret that the West is the United States or the West is Europe or whatever it is, right? If you look at where Israel is, it's right in the middle of it's a tiny block of people in a Islamic state and to wipe that tiny blip of a country off the face of the earth, I think is a travesty. in many regards. So I understand why we've put our, the military's put our foot down and said, hey, we need to protect these people. But I think that the fact that we have people rioting and, outside of the Capitol literally is pretty insane because the mind of they're very narrow-minded to what has been said and what has been known for thousands of years with regard to the state of Israel. So, yeah, sorry, getting back to the conspiracy theory of it, right? I think 9/11 was definitely a trampoline, a jumping point into getting back into the Middle East. We had Desert Storm, and that kind of we created our own issues with that, right? So we put Saddam Hussein into power as the CIA, and we realized that he was a terrible human being, but we put him into place, and then we used uh, that that jumping point, essentially at 9/11, to go back and get rid of him, get rid of everything that we had messed up, and it allowed for the America to rally behind that, whether or not 9/11 itself was fake or not. Right? Obviously, all those people died, and all of those, and I think that it's really just a government issue that we've allowed the government to control the narrative completely, and you can't find information about more than what uh, I think. I think we've similar to like the JFK killing, right? The assassination of John F. Kennedy. We can't find out more information, and even when they said they were going to release the records, they didn't. Right? Like,
Yeah.
was so much of it was redacted, and we put a 60-year redaction on those, and we received a couple hundred of the pages by the thousands of pages that they knew that they had. Right? Do I think that the CIA would have killed their own president? Like, yes, absolutely. Was he about to uncover some things or say some things that they didn't like, and was going to rattle the country and possibly the world? Yes. Like, if
The most believable claim from the JFK conspiracy is like, how does a person like Lee Harvey Oswald hit that shot with the rifle that he had
well,
in one go?
the bullet theory. I mean, have you seen where the bullet is supposed to have traveled? It's supposed to have curved into, like, essentially out of and into someone else, right?
Yeah, right.
Like,
how,
no.
how it hit multiple.
Right.
Yeah.
Lee
points.
Harvey Oswald was as he said, was a patsy in his own. Like, he cried it when he was getting arrested, right? And then we killed him, or someone killed him, right?
Yeah.
Just so that we couldn't ask the questions. Similar to this, just like the main shooter, right? Like, that we killed. That main shooter was found dead next to the dumpster.
Yeah.
Do you think that we wanted to hear his answers, or do we think that we wanted to get him silenced? Like, it is so much easier to ask the question to a dead person and figure out our own answers than it is to ask the person, right? He could have been whatever we wanted him to be once he's dead. And you can paint a picture of whatever he is, when he can't answer the questions.
Yeah. The main guy wasn't he in the Army?
Yeah, it was an Army National Guard guy.
Army National Guard, yeah.
But, and, it's always easier to look at his past and say, yeah, that's the problem. Not ask him, because if he says something up front, like, there's too many cameras nowadays to get away with asking someone their questions.
Yeah.
Right. There's too many. If the second that he says something, like, it's like the January 6th, the people have been locked up, right? Like I guarantee you those people were locked up for a reason, right? They can't say anything. And there was so much footage that was not released. And
There was a video from January 6th that was like very questionable, in my opinion. Um, it was like they were outside of the windows, and like they're like riding or whatever, and this dude walks up and he's like in body armor, like dark shades and stuff, ball cap, and he comes up and like smashes the window in, and he starts like yelling at people like, go in, and the one dude's like, no, we'll get shot.
No.
yeah,
And then he's like,
Insane.
go, and he like pushes the dude. He's like, go in, and the dude's like, no. And
I think I've seen that video.
yeah, and people are like just like posting that video and commenting, and they're like, that's gotta be an FBI informant or someone in the CIA or something.
It's
Like
an undercover agent.
that is someone like promoting the violence.
oh yeah. I think we've always promoted the violence of, because it's just like the bricks, right, that we had outside in Portland, like stacks of bricks.
Yeah.
Like, why would we stack bricks that have never been there before? Like,
What?
that doesn't make any sense.
What are you talking about?
The Portland riots.
During the Portland riots, we had stacks of bricks.
I don't remember this. The Portland riots?
It was when
Was that
During
the
the big BLM riots,
was that the
during George Floyd, the whole.
the
the
what do you
beginning of COVID.
the what do you call it city? The
Portland.
Portland.
no, it was they called themselves something different. It was like a independent city or something. They called themselves.
Oh, you're talking about in Seattle? What was it called? Yeah, there was a city. There was a
That
town
was
that they
Seattle?
called. Yeah, it was in Seattle.
I don't know what
Yeah, well,
Portland
they
riots
failed.
there are though.
When this was all happening, I was away for 2 months without access to things.
Yeah, so
Oh, you were at sleepaway camp. That's right. Summer camp.
That's about the time that this was all happening, though.
yeah, I was trying to go to work.
He's big into the
And
Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
I was trying literally. So there was a riot on the highway, and I had to go to work that night, and I had to go all the way around, take a different highway, which was pretty annoying. Otherwise, because it was shut down during the riot, and they said, hey, like there's going to be a protest on the highway, which I was like, well, that's pretty stupid. But then
I would have brought my gun.
as I got on the highway, the only way to go was through them initially.
So that's what you did.
and I did. I remember thinking like, this
I did.
this truck is a
I just
is it-
went. They got out of the way.
is a driving hate crime. Yeah, yeah. I have a lifted black F-150 that I was like, you normally drive with an American flag on the back, like one of those like a normal flag, and I was like, well, I'm probably either gonna get ripped out of my truck and shot, or I'm gonna be on video like running over someone. Not really, probably on purpose, but like I don't. I'm definitely one of those people that doesn't put up with people in my way. Like I'm not gonna slow down. Like if you're in the way, like you're on the highway, like get off the highway.
This is not where you belong.
Yeah,
This is where I belong.
go protest literally anywhere fucking else. Like you're in my way.
Have you?
I
I
saw
have to get to work, dog. Like
I saw a news
move.
article this morning. that
Yeah.
I was reading.
Yep.
About the environmentalists.
Yeah. I was
they're-
about to talk.
There's
yeah,
It's not. Well, I guess it's not that funny, but
I don't
sorry.
know, it's
there was
pretty
a there was like environmentalist protesters on some highway or
In
street
Panama.
or something. Yeah,
yeah. So
and
there's
they were blocking the way, and this guy got out because they were blocking the way, and he just shot two of them and killed them.
as an American lawyer,
It's like,
77-year-old
Get out
man.
of my way.
Like they're blocking the highway somewhere in Panama, and he's just fed up and he just
Yeah.
comes out,
like
blast them.
I don't.
That's the verbiage that the New York Post used, by the way. Blast. He blasted them.
He blasted them.
I don't.
Blasted.
I wouldn't say I blame him for his anger, but I definitely wouldn't have gotten out of my car and shot
The
them.
road,
Blasted
it
them.
says the roadblocks have caused up to $80 million in daily losses to businesses and schools
What are they protesting in
nationwide.
Panama? I mean, forgive my ignorance. What is there to protest in Panama?
I don't know, but
Who
like
knows?
$80 million, it's a lot of money.
I mean, I don't know a lot
This guy
about
did a service.
South American countries or territories or what have you, but like,
But do you
What is there to
think that
protest in Panama?
protesting on the highway is a smart idea?
no,
Very
it's
bad
never
idea.
protesting in general, in my opinion. That's not like you rallying outside of I don't know, in a group that has been designated for you. Like that's outside of that, it's never really a smart idea. But
Yeah, when you
what
block
are you protesting in Panama?
when you block public
The
commerce
canal.
to get to prove your point, I think now you're impeding other people's ability to do their job.
Yeah. When
And
I
the
was
second that that's like, I think protesting is fine if you want to do it on your own time in a space that is accessible to you, but not the roadways.
Yeah.
yeah,
Once you start spilling into the roadways, like if you get hit, that's not my fault, right? Like I'm driving at roughly,
55,
55, which
65,
is the,
70.
whatever the speed limit is,
60,
8 or 85, whatever speed I'm driving, right? So like,
85. Jesus
Yeah,
I don't
Christ.
think that's legal.
I was listening to one of the guys that said he sped for the first time above 80, and I was like, you sped above 80 for the first time? You remember that one time in your life that you went above 80 miles an hour? Like,
I remember the first time I went above 80, scared the crap out of me.
I remember the first time that I went above 80, which was on my way here, which was that was the first time I've ever been above 80 miles an hour.
Today?
No. Yeah,
Oh, I
that
was
was,
like,
that
really?
was literally any time I get in the car.
I don't think I've definitely never been above 90 ever.
In your life?
No. Well, okay, I can't
Oh,
say in
man.
my life. With
You've
me
been on
as
an airplane.
I've been on an airplane. With me as the driver, I've never been above 90 miles an hour. I think the closest I've gotten is 88, and that was an accident. I didn't have an accident, but that was definitely an accident. I had just gotten my new car, and I was used to driving an SUV, and I was used to not looking at the speedometer when I was on the highway, and just accidentally looked down. I was like, "Oh shoot!"
I remember thinking,
I
I
need
wish
to
I
slow
could
down
turn my
now.
governor off of my
You have
vehicle.
a governor?
Every
it-
engine.
The heck
It-
do you have a governor for?
It
every
becomes
motor.
governed at 113.
What? Do they all have that?
Most of them have
Yeah.
governor responses.
What's
so
the
like,
point?
so you can't kill people.
No, but
Right.
like, what's the point of making ice maker? It's like once an episode now. Ever since, like, why would you make an engine that has the capability to go like 120, 200 in a vehicle if you're just going to throttle it by half?
It's so you don't recklessly kill someone.
Yeah, why don't you just make a more fuel efficient engine that doesn't go as fast?
A
But
bigger.
what's the point of that?
It saves me money because I can't get to those speeds anyway, apparently.
I'm-
You know what I mean?
Some people like driving fast.
Yeah, but if you can't get to those speeds, why not just
It depends on what you're going to be using that vehicle for. So, like, if I'm driving a Prius around town, it's geared towards.
keep me driving around
It's geared
town?
towards like
I can't say the rest of those lyrics.
not driving fast and around town. Like that's when it's going to get its best
Right, except for
fuel
the Prius that
mileage.
cut me off at 95.
But like, his truck or like a V8, any V8 engine is like made for highway driving. Really, that's when it's going to get its best mileage.
I drive a
So-
V4.
So if that's what you're buying it for, is like a lot of highway driving, you want a bigger engine, and naturally, if you want a car to go its most efficient at 70 miles per hour, then like by
That explains a
nature
lot.
of the design, it's going to be able to go up to 180 miles per hour or whatever.
Are you asking why there's sports cars, or like supercars in the world?
I'm asking, why would they make Why would they bother putting governors on vehicles that can go 200, 150 plus miles an hour when they could just better engineer the engine and make it go slower, since they're just going to prevent me from getting to those speeds anyway?
That doesn't exist. Like you can't make it go slower and be more efficient at higher speeds.
Yeah, what you're saying is, like, it doesn't.
I don't have a mechanical engineering degree
You wouldn't
or anything close.
want your car to go. You're not trying to slow your car down to make it more fuel efficient. There's a certain point where it becomes the most fuel efficient and that's what it's based on gearing or gearing ratio. So like you have a super short gear that allows you, or it's super tall gear essentially that allows you to
I love a
be at the-
tall gear.
at the at the peak RPM for its speed. So like 60, most vehicles, back in the day, right, the fuel economy was all set for 55 miles an hour because that was
Back in the day.
that was the average speed that everyone traveled, or that was like the average speed limit. And then people realized that you could, as cars got safer and going faster, then they raised the speed limits to 65, 70, 80. And so now
There's a
What is that?
it's a personally made car. It's like to the
The Formula One?
what is it? What's the track? The most popular track for racing in the United States?
Daytona?
Goodwood or whatever.
What? Goodwood.
this is Goodwood.
I've never.
They made this car that vacuums to the road. Like it sucks itself to the road so it can get up to those higher speeds very quickly. And it's so ridiculously fast and quick. It looks like something out of a cartoon. Like you know how a car will go like really fast in cartoons, like and, oh my gosh.
You son of a bean.
Dang.
Dadgummit.
Yeah,
Go get the.
So most quick, very
Break time.
fast cars
You.
in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
That was what you took a photo in.
I was the king of Hawaiian shirts
Yeah, go
back
ahead.
in the day. Ooh, yeah.
You like Hawaiian shirts?
I used to. So when I used to be a heavy.
You've been to Hawaii?
No, I've never been out. I've been to the Bahamas, and I've been to Nassau, which I think is also the Bahamas.
Yep.
Still, Freeport, Nassau. There's another island I've been to. I can't remember the name of it. Princess Cays, I think. But that's not like a country. That's owned by.
On cruises.
Yeah, that's owned by a cruise line.
But you like the Hawaiian? Is it just the feel of it, or like the look?
It was the feel, not so much the look. I mean, they look fine now that I've gotten older. But whenever I was in high school,
Did you? What was it? The feel, like the silkiness, or
it was definitely the silkiness. I could tell you so many different fabrics that were my favorites. My absolute favorite. Shout out to Hawaiian Shirt Aficionados.
You'd sit there and
It was called rayon. Rayon is my absolute favorite fabric.
sounds expensive.
Yeah, I think they make sheets, right? Like rayon sheets.
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah, you could sleep in that. That way you could just
Oh.
encapsulated in.
Oh,
I would
crap.
love to sleep in that. It's better than silk. Hot take. It's better than silk.
I thought you were about to say better than sex.
Yeah, I did think you were about to say that.
I wouldn't know. It's better than. It's better than silk by far. I remember because I had silk Hawaiian shirts that I used, and I had rayon shirts, polyester, and I had a blend of everything, and cotton and other blends of really anything that you could think of. I had dozens of Hawaiian shirts.
Is there a brand specific?
A brand?
Tommy Bahama.
I wasn't really into Tommy Bahama. I
Those are
honestly,
ultra expensive too.
yeah, I don't remember the exact brand that I wore a lot of. I'd have to look at the shirts from back then.
Gucci.
No, never paid that much for a shirt. That's stupid. No offense to the Gucci
No
boys.
offense.
No offense to the Gooches.
No offense. You're an idiot. You're stupid.
But yeah, I would
That's retarded.
I would never.
Is what it is.
I would never spend that much on a shirt. Yeah, so I had dozens of Hawaiian shirts, and what it boils down to is I was much heavier in high school and middle school, and it was easier as a bigger person to wear a shirt that looked better if it was a button down or a button up shirt.
So it was slimming.
It wasn't slimming, so it did not make me look slim.
You could wear a corsage.
It made me look it it wasn't slimming, it was more so it hid the bulges that naturally came with being heavy. Like in the chest area, in the hips, in the stomach, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So I would wear those. I would look better with them, and honestly, they were cheap back then. Now they like exploded. It seems like they've gotten a lot more popular over the years. But I remember I did a challenge that was just like a self-imposed challenge by people at school because everybody always saw me wearing a Hawaiian shirt. They're like, "Where do you get all these freaking Hawaiian shirts from? You've never even been to Hawaii." And I'm like, "I find one, I buy one." Like, what? So they said, "How many do you have?" It's like, "I don't know." I said, "I've probably got enough to wear one a day every day, or to wear a different one every day for probably 2 months." And they're like,
Oh my
"What?"
god.
Wow.
They're like,
That's impressive.
like,
That's a lot.
"Why?"
Yeah.
That's roughly, that's 60. But then
Yeah. And plus, I had other shirts in addition to that I wore for other things. But they were like, "There's no freaking way." I was like, I can just prove it. If you see me wear the same one twice, like call me out." And they're like,
were they on hangers?
"Okay, yeah."
So
They're
you
all,
had enough hanger room to
Jeez.
Yeah.
utilize.
they were the only shirts that I hung. Everything else went into
So you had
drawers.
60 shirts, roughly. 60
Yeah.
hung Hawaiian shirts.
A few jackets too, but yeah.
Hawaiian jackets.
No, not Hawaiian jackets. Just like, so it was about 60 shirts that were Hawaiian in the closet, and then like my closet was long. It wasn't like like how some places or some bedrooms have like a mini room.
Yeah.
Where it's like you walk in like a
Mhm.
walk-in closet. Mine was just like a hallway basically with just
Hawaiian shirts.
hangers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was Hawaiian shirts that were hung and jackets. Not Hawaiian jackets, just regular jackets. And
This
so
was
that's
in high school?
middle school, high school.
And your parents bought you this many shirts?
Yeah.
I don't think I owned 60 shirts. I don't think I own 60 shirts now.
Well, I didn't get them
Yeah.
all from like expensive stores. I would get them for my birthday. I would get them for Christmas.
The Goodwill.
I would get them from
But
Goodwill.
they were able to
thrift
fit
stores.
the entire time?
Yeah.
Like, when did you stop growing height-wise?
Oh, height wise, 7th, 8th grade.
So from 7th to 8th grade and beyond, you were able to wear the same shirt. Are you the same height now?
I stayed the same height.
You can still wear them.
I've maybe grown half an inch. They would be huge on me now because I've lost 50, 60 pounds since then. I still have. Well, I
What
have
size were they?
2X.
Dang,
Extra large 2X.
boy.
I was a big kid.
They're going to be dresses on you.
Yeah, they were huge.
Double X?
Oh yeah. Most of them are still back at home. I think we gave most of them away. But yeah, the
So, like,
rayons,
normal-sized people?
normal sized people that like frat guys that would wear white t-shirts under them, looking all fly.
We should bring back Hawaiian shirt Alec.
Hawaiian shirt out.
Yeah.
I'd try to see if I could find some, but they had to look huge on me if I even have any of them left.
Let's
I
just go to the
think we
Goodwill
do.
after this. We'll go pick
to
up
the
some Hawaiian shirts.
They're probably open. They're definitely open.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure they have them.
Yeah, I used to love wearing Hawaiian shirts. They fit nice. They were comfortable. It didn't make me look like. I mean, yeah, I looked fat, but I looked less fat wearing Hawaiian shirts. But yeah, I did the challenge. I mean, I guess technically I cheated a little bit because it was one a day every school day. So on the weekends,
Cheater.
just wore whatever shirts I wanted because that
Kidding
was
me?
that was the thing is like you would see me at school. So 420, 80
Blazing.
or 40, not 80. So like 40 days in a row, I wore a different Hawaiian shirt every day.
That's pretty incredible. that you had 40 shirts. I still don't think I have 40 shirts, like just in
Yeah.
general, like between button ups and t-shirts.
I think
Unless I start going with like work shirts, I don't think I have 40.
yeah, most of my shirts now are flannels. I've always loved flannel and plaid, but I could never really pull it off until I lost weight.
Most of my shirts are definitely t-shirts. I wear a ridiculous amount of t-shirts.
Yeah, I have probably 40 t-shirts, maybe.
Yeah.
I exclusively wear t-shirts to and from the gym. That's about it.
I think I
You wear-
exclusively wear it
You wear buttons
everywhere.
everywhere else.
Yeah. If I'm going out somewhere, it's like 75% of the time I'm wearing a button up, button down, and then the other 25% of the time it's like a polo or a collared shirt. I really don't wear anything that does not contain a collar unless I'm going to the gym.
Anytime I wear a collared shirt, I feel like I'm dressing up, and I don't.
Yeah.
I probably only have two
Yeah.
or three polos.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because of me not looking great when I was bigger or like low self-esteem issues or whatnot, but I feel like I look like garbage if I'm not like dressing up. Like if you see me out and about, I'm 90% of the time you could probably attest to this. I'm wearing khakis.
Really?
I'm wearing khakis. I'm wearing relatively nice shoes that are pretty well taken care of, and I'm wearing
Button up.
a polo or a button-up flannel.
Khakis.
I'm literally wearing khakis under the table right now.
I'm not wearing
I
anything.
I don't own a pair of khakis.
You don't own a pair of khakis?
I do not.
I have, I think, maybe 2 pairs of jeans.
I
Like
have
in
zero
total.
khakis. I have
The others are shorts that I wear to the gym.
I disagree that you don't own khakis.
You
I
don't
have one pair.
disagree. Yeah, you
I
definitely
have
own,
one pair.
You definitely own
You
khakis.
definitely own
You
them.
definitely own khakis.
Do you think
Yeah.
to change the subject,
What's up? Oh shoot.
do you think AI is going to take over the world?
Like all right, are we saying like Terminator style or like
iRobot?
You think it's going to mess with
like
all of our
iRobot style?
Yeah, iRobot.
Or like what we have now, which is just. Do I think that we will have robots in the future?
Right now,
Like people help, like
our level
robot
of
helpers?
AI right now is something that just takes everything that humans already say and spits it back out at you. It is not a self-thinking. It's not a conscious thing.
I don't know if it'll
It just spits essays back at you. And nothing's original that the AI does.
I don't know if it'll be our downfall, but I definitely don't want it to get any more advanced.
I think that the governments are definitely worried about the possibility that it becomes. I wouldn't self-aware is always what we say is like, but more intelligent. I think is the concern, and 100%. I think that we will find ourselves being outsmarted and outdone by robots. We already are, right? In like
I definitely don't want Skynet.
in many ways, right? So like, if you look at manufacturing jobs, right now robots can make vehicles and make items faster than any human can, and it removes the requirement for humans to, you go to McDonald's, right? You order on a machine, so I don't have to hire a McDonald's employee because it's cheaper.
Yeah, I don't want to tip them, the McDonald's employee. At the kiosk.
Do you
Yeah.
mind tilting your mic up?
Can you hear me now?
It's like the legend of
Like
good grief.
right here?
Good grief, Charlie Brown.
Is it
Yeah.
better?
It's like the
I just don't want you bending over.
it's like
Yeah.
the legend of
Wherever
Big
you're gonna
John
sit.
or Big Henry. John Henry. The legend of John Henry.
You mean Little John?
No, Big John Henry. Do you know John Henry? I think that was his name.
No.
Do you know
I
John
don't know what
Henry?
you're talking about.
I think it's a North Carolina folk tale, but I think he actually existed, if I remember
North
right.
Carolinians.
Yeah, I mean his heroism is greatly exaggerated, but I'm pretty sure he was a real person. Do you know about him?
No, is this like the Blue Ox and
Oh,
Paul Bunyan.
Paul
Paul
Bunyan?
Bunyan? No. I mean it's similar. So John, I think his name was John Henry. If you want to look him up to verify, I'm talking about the right person. But so John Henry was this very big, muscular railroad worker back in, I don't know, probably the mid late 1800s, probably the late 1800s if I can remember right. And he was very famous for being fast and strong with putting down railroad ties to build railroad tracks through the mountains
I
and the
remember this
caves.
story.
Yeah, and whatnot. And then some guy came into town and was like, "Hey, I invented this steam engine based machine that could outbeat or outperform any man." And John Henry was like, "No freaking way! I'm gonna destroy your machine and beat it." And so it was.
Yeah, they raced, and
Yeah.
then he beat it.
Yeah, he beat it, and then I think he died like right after
Yeah,
because
while
he exhausted himself.
after making it, which
Yeah,
I think that was the whole folktale, right? Like,
yeah,
but it's just like machines will eventually overcome the ability of humans, and AI is on that track of being able to, if you look at iRobot, like the idea of having a personal robot in your house to do things for you.
no, absolutely not. I'll never let that happen.
For me, I don't think it's going to be in your lifetime. It'll definitely be in
I hope
our
not.
kids' lifetime for sure.
I'll warn my children of the dangers of the robot race.
You ever watch those videos of the robot dog? Like,
what?
You ever watch
Oh yeah,
that dog robot?
the ones that they're
It's terrifying. You can open the doors.
Yeah,
I don't know what this is. Dog robot?
They make a robot that
swear
can
you've seen
open
it.
doors and like.
I don't think so. I saw an ad for a child robot or robot child like today about I think it was like Samsung.
Boston Dynamics. That's it.
Yeah, that robot is terrifying looking.
And like, there's videos of them like they're testing them out, and they're like literally kicking it over and seeing if it can like take the blow.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't abuse the things that are probably going to become sentient one day.
Yeah, they will end
That
up killing
bothers
you.
me. Yeah, it's like robot dog remembers.
As it's standing above you.
It will keep that in its memory banks.
Yeah, it's not like an elephant. It always remembers.
Yeah, they gave him an arm.
Yeah, it has an arm that can reach out and open the doors, which was pretty scary in the idea that it can do all the things it does.
Spoiler alert! I don't know if you guys have seen the Seth MacFarlane movie or TV show about it's like a Star Trek spoof, but they have an episode. Huge spoiler. They have episodes about this. What the crap?
Yeah, these are like real things. That's not AR right there.
I don't like the way it walks.
No
offense.
That's what I'm saying. I told
Any
you.
robot.
It's very good.
Scary.
Jumping, walking, getting pushed over.
What is that?
Yeah, and they have it jump onto things, and
That's gonna fight wars for us in a few decades.
well, we already use
That thing's bulletproof.
we literally already use robots to do that, right? So we use
Crap!
drones.
We've already not learned our lesson.
The intention, right? I think with the military is to be able to launch unmanned aerial UAVs off aircraft carriers.
I don't trust that. Oh, but yeah, there's this race of people called race of beings called the Kaylon, and they're like, basically, if iRobot, the robots won.
See,
Where the
You can't do that to a dog.
he just freaking kicked it
the robots.
Get away from me.
right here.
Boom. Suck it.
I don't.
There's
yeah,
like much more.
I don't
Yeah,
trust
they
that.
kicked.
Yeah, yeah, there it is.
Dang.
That guy's smiling and laughing.
Yeah,
That
well, he
piece of
just
garbage.
Spartan kicks this robot dog,
They're
but it
crazy.
didn't do anything. It
He's
just
gonna get his world rocked.
it remembered.
Yeah, it's definitely not gonna forget that.
Robot dog, remember that?
Yeah,
Like,
remember
Fallout.
me kicking you.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I know it's gonna make me sound like a crazy person,
Everyone disliked that.
but that is literally the reason why I say thank you to Siri every single time that I get home after she gives me GPS directions. I always say thank you. I
No, you don't.
I do. I literally do every single day. I
You've
usually
lost
say
it.
I usually say please, and I I hope one day that the kindness is repaid when I'm in my 60s and I'm on my deathbed and the robot drone overlords have taken over and I'm, you know, stressed out, curled up in a ivory palace with rayon sheets.
He was always nice to us.
Yeah, he was a good dog. He was a good boy. just we'll just let him live in peace and harmony. Oh, but the Kalon, I keep getting off topic. The Kalon are like iRobot level aliens that have been engineered by an actual biological species, and they get abused and imbued with pain sensors and whatnot until they take over and they kill all of their masters, and then you find out in the episode spoiler that they're trying to destroy organic life so that they can take over the universe because they hate organics. Honestly, not to harp it back, but the same plot point is in Ratchet and Clank.
Same plot point is also in Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Oh yeah, that too.
Because at some point, right, AI will make decisions for us.
Yeah,
and
I
tell
don't.
us
I don't
to
want that.
keep ourselves safe, right?
Thank you, Siri.
Yeah, Siri's scary.
I'm getting a phone call.
Siri knows when you're doing bad things, right? So like
Yeah, like Santa.
Santa.
Yeah, like Santa.
What do you mean?
He knows when you've been good or bad or good.
All right.
So be good
Is
for
Santa real?
goodness sakes.
Did you grow up believing in Santa?
You darn Skippy. Still do.
Yeah. Why?
You
I know-
must have
I know-
believed in a Thai Santa.
No, I know people that believe in that teach their kids that there's no such thing as Santa.
Well, are you talking about yourself?
No.
You talking about your wife?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
So like
Oh gosh.
I grew up with Santa. My wife did not, so we had to talk about it, right? And like now that we have Santa, the kids obviously enjoy the idea of Santa, and so after this, I have to go get John the house elf,
Johnny Elf.
Big John.
Big John. No, this is Little John.
What ethnicity did you think Santa was?
Well, so my parents are white, so
Yeah.
he's white.
So you thought Santa was white?
Well,
I don't know
think.
why he wouldn't be. Saint Nicholas.
Do you think-
Like, he's just-
Do you think Santa would be black and be up in the cold?
I don't think that.
and also originating from
He's from
the
Saint
United
Nick.
Kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Saint
a lot of
Nicholas.
people, a lot of like,
White country. You have to be white in the freaking Antarctic to survive.
but a lot of people don't think that way. They're like, Santa looks like, you and me. Where in Thailand, Santa probably
Is it chameleon?
looks
It's still white.
Thai. Always magic. So I mean, if any creature could shapeshift, I would think Santa could.
Well, so in
I
Thailand,
wouldn't.
I believe they believe in it's Buddhism. Buddhism is the main religion, right? So it's probably religion based. I don't think that Buddhism has Santa or Jesus or any of that stuff. So like
Mhm.
in reality, I doubt that they had a Santa.
Well, I know the Koreans think or depict Jesus as Korean, which is, obviously not true. But I mean, we also depict Jesus as largely white, which is also not true. It's like every culture depicts big, famous beings as looking the way they look. Like the Australian Santa looks Australian. He
Who,
doesn't even fly reindeer.
who really
the-
depicts Jesus as
The
white?
Australian Santa flies crocodiles. You can look that up.
That's not true.
That is true. It might be alligators. I get the two confused. He flies reptiles, at the
That's-
very
It would
least.
be Crocs, wouldn't it?
First off, that's
Oh yeah, it's probably is crocodiles.
I'm fairly certain that Santa Claus, the folklore of Santa Claus, is still always. You think that there's crocodiles up in the North Pole?
That's what they think.
That doesn't make any sense.
Also, Santa is
You have to make
comes
it
around
semi-believable.
during the summertime
Oh, yes, that's because it's
in
summer's down there.
Australia. Yeah. Look at Australian Santa.
Is there crocodiles?
Look at Australian Santa. Australian Santa. What did you
That's
even
what I'm
look up?
looking at. It's a summer tradition.
Uh huh.
Of course, because
What does
this is upsetting that they think that there's crocodiles.
What do Australians think Santa flies, or something like that?
This is like the Bart Simpson episode, the Simpsons episode where Bart thinks that the water flushes the opposite way, and he charges thousands of dollars on.
Does it not? Does it not? What does Santa fly in Australia? Try that.
A sleigh with crocodiles. A crocodile sleigh. This is for real.
I
Everybody,
don't see it.
everybody thinks I'm retarded, but I usually say true things. You're
I
cool.
don't see anything.
You're not up
Yeah,
to
I'm
snuff. You're
gonna
not looking up the right
I'm gonna look
things.
it up later and verify that you're wrong. And then I'm gonna send it to you.
People always try to verify that I'm wrong. The vast majority of the time, I'm not. I just say things that are outlandish because I know they're true.
I don't see anything supporting that. I mean, the summer thing, I saw that.
Obviously in the summer because it's the summer down there.
Yeah, in December.
But the Santa Claus thing with the crocodiles, I feel like is too far fetched.
Hokey
me.
pokey. I don't know. I don't know if I'm scared of AI. Ever. It's not a really big worry. At least right now. Right now, all it is it's just a random essay generator. It's as much as it gets.
I think there's more AI than we have let on that's been created.
Like right now, Chat GPT is what everyone's talking about and how amazing it is.
Yeah, you can't get it.
But it's not. It's just scouring the internet for things that you're looking for and then just like regenerating it
The thing I found says
in a
kangaroos.
different way.
I might be thinking of
Kangaroos.
I think I might be thinking of a different country that uses crocodiles or something.
So-
I was pretty sure it was Australia
the
though.
the roos land on the roof.
It said there's a song you can look up that tells you about the story.
Kangaroos in
six white
Australia
roos?
wouldn't
Oh,
surprise me.
singing Six White Boomers. Six White Boomers tells you of the Christmas tradition of Santa flying kangaroos.
Kangaroos make sense because there's kangaroos in Australia just literally
Swore
everywhere.
He flew alligators or crocodiles in some country.
If a roo walks in my back door, I'm going to punch him in the face.
If a roo falls in my back door, my back door.
I literally have pictures of kangaroos on the golf course in Australia,
Hugh Jackman.
just hanging out. God.
What a lovely roo.
Kangaroos are wild. They are very muscular.
They are
Yeah.
wild. That's the point.
That was literally taken in Australia on a golf course.
Did you punch it?
No,
When were you in Australia?
Did you let it punch you?
in 2011.
What were you doing there?
That was a long
Golfing.
time ago. I was 13.
How were you golfing
Wait, no, I
in
wasn't. I
Australia?
was 14.
I was at the Brookwater Country Club, which
Oh, of course you were.
was for work.
Oh. Gotcha.
Country club for work. Somebody's rich.
Yeah, it was. We all wanted to play golf, so I was like, yeah, let's go. We took like a 3-hour drive from where we were to
3-hour tour.
all the way down to the country club to play golf. I guess it was supposed to be the second best golf course in Australia.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
I
only,
was-
only in Australia.
in Australia, yeah, it was like a like a world class course, and they had. I remember we had to rent clubs. It was like all they had was Callaways, like super nice, brand new Callaway clubs,
Mm.
and none of us are professionals, so we were just balls were going everywhere, and because the kangaroos were on the course, we obviously tried to shoot balls at them. No one got close because
Fast.
they're pretty fast. But we got to see literally kangaroos were just chilling, almost like they were like squirrels.
Yeah.
I
So
think there's more kangaroos than people in Australia.
it wouldn't surprise me.
That's
I
why
don't think there's
That's why
a
they're so
huge
farmed.
population. Well, I think you can eat kangaroo meat.
Yeah, you can.
Like-
They're farmed like cattle.
What are the birds that attack people? It's
There's
like
a lot
whole
of birds
season.
that attack people.
There's like a whole season for them down in Australia.
Talking about
You're talking about emus or ostriches?
emus attack a lot of people in Australia.
Man, someone knows what I'm talking about.
You talking about Angry Birds, the video game?
They are angry birds.
Is that where that originated from in Australia?
I have no.
I
idea.
don't know.
Flappy Bird. I
I'm
have
just
no
saying the
idea
birds that
what you're
like during
talking
this
about.
season just like get ticked off and just attack people as they're walking to their car.
They get in heat.
You remember when Angry Birds took over like your phone? That was like the thing to play.
Magpies.
Magpies?
They get mad. What are they getting mad about?
What does a magpie even look like? I feel like you
It's
could
just like a small bird, ain't it? Like a little bird. They're
Yeah,
not.
you
They're
have
not big, are they?
you have a tennis racket, just hit them.
Yeah. You gonna take that from a little bird?
Yeah.
Don't be a pansy.
This is your
Swooping.
fault. If
Yeah,
you're-
magpie swooping season.
they swoop down on you, then carry it on.
What? Carry an umbrella.
Yeah. Yeah. And a tennis racket, so you just hit it.
Oh, the
Or like a fly
electrified.
swatter.
The
Yeah,
electrified.
fly.
Yeah, they just it doesn't matter. Like you're outside, they're gonna start swooping on you, attacking you.
This is craziness. Apparently, it's in September.
That wasn't too long ago. They're recovering.
So they're recovering. Yeah. A bunch of people have their eyes poked out.
all the Australians, the Lians, they're all
It was like
The
Bird, the
hiccups.
movie. They were just running into.
birds.
You ever see that movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh
I've
my
seen
gosh,
clips.
It's very.
Not well put together.
It is a weird movie. I think all of his movies are kind of weird though.
Alfred.
Yeah.
Good old Alfred.
The
You-
magpies get bad.
You love Alfred.
Alfred.
Yeah.
Hitchcock.
Hitchcock.
You like those? I hate them.
Yeah. Without the
I
hitch
don't
though.
think I've ever watched them. I don't think I've ever seen an Alfred Hitchcock movie or film.
I got the hiccups. I don't think I've seen like a collection of short movies that he made years ago.
The most
Dadgummit.
exposure I've gotten to Alfred Hitchcock is like when you go. I can't remember what movie theater it is. I think it's AMC, and they have those like previews, like please silence your phone, blah, 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 and then it's like him at the end in the recording studio. He's like, "My name is Alfred Hitchcock," or something.
Did you find $20?
No,
What?
what is that? You're talking about?
Wait, that's like a cool story. You find $20.
Your story sucks.
No, I'm just. I've never. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I don't know how you guys
Sound
don't know what
clip.
I'm talking about.
I
Like
vaguely know.
AMC?
I don't really go to AMC that often. I like Cinemark. Not a sponsor.
Maybe it's Cinemark. I don't know.
Well, it's, clearly it wouldn't be Cinemark because that's the one I go to.
We have a requested question.
Oh, what's
for
the
you.
requested question for me?
Oh yeah.
Son of a bean. There's so many questions I can answer.
What is your ideal romantic evening?
Oh yeah.
Ideal romantic evening. I can't say
All right,
that.
I'm gonna guess first. Let me
Oh yeah.
put
yeah,
out a
yeah,
guess.
by all means. Is this your question?
Of course it was. We talked about it and we thought it would
Of
be
course
hilarious.
it
A couple
was.
people at work
Yeah.
that wanted to know.
We wanted to know. So
What my ideal evening is?
yeah, I see you as a gamer.
Okay.
You,
What am I
You're-
playing Pac-Man with the missus?
yeah,
Mrs.
You-
Pac-Man?
your female friend, whoever that be, or male, whatever.
Female. Let the record show.
All right. Well, female friend,
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
gaming
No, there's nothing wrong with
in,
that.
No, there's
in your
wrong.
gaming pod, in a chair, in those encapsulation pods. You know, like with
Please
the big
maintain eye
screens,
contact with me while you say it.
with the screens. You know what I'm saying? And then
I know what you're talking about. The ones that like swoop up around.
yeah,
Like a
they're
photo
so legit.
booth almost?
I'd never seen one of those until like just recently. I saw a video of.
They're
Oh yeah,
wild.
I
They're
saw
crazy.
I
Expensive,
saw that
dude.
of a sugar daddy with his sugar baby on TikTok.
Yeah.
She
So
was sitting in one
I assume that you both have them. You're both in them, gaming
separately.
separately, and
Okay.
then it's dinner time, so you decide to emerge from your caves,
like a butterfly in the
like a butterfly, like
cocoon?
yeah, similar, and you you emerge from your slumber of gaming,
Yeah.
or whatever, and
the coma of
the coma of the
visual stimulus that we're experiencing together,
maybe you were playing, I don't know,
slaying noobs left and right,
Fortnite or whatever your game of
Fortnite,
choice is.
building
Building
forts.
forts.
Oh, Minecrafting
Yeah,
together.
Playing Minecraft dungeons surrounded by
Oh my gosh.
You just described some
Whatever.
of the evenings I have with him. That's literally what you're describing.
well, perfect. You guys emerge and you say, "Where should we go to eat?" And then you guys look at each other
Where should we go to eat?
longingly, and you just say, "Let's order in."
I've got my buffet right here.
She says, "Let's order in." You're like, "Honey, I love you."
Honey, I love you.
You wait
That's
4 hours
amazing.
for DoorDash because that's what happens.
Yeah.
They end up bringing you warm sushi because it was cold at one point.
Sushi. It was sitting in my thermal chamber, backseat of my car, of my 20-year-old Honda Civic. For your pleasure.
You start taking the shots of sake because of course you're like, well,
Oh, she's Asian.
she's Asian.
You're in the mood.
You're in the mood. Of course she's Asian.
What other gamer isn't Asian? That's a woman.
She's
What?
she's big into cosplay.
Yeah, she has her cosplay.
So
on.
she has her cosplay on, of course.
Who's she cosplaying as? Oh,
Oh, I don't know.
I hate
I'm not
hiccups.
big into
Who is she cosplaying?
That's like
some
a required detail.
some character, Yoshi.
You could have said Peach, but you went with Yoshi.
Yoshi.
What?
She's got her Yoshi costume on.
She's laying eggs
Oh
left
my
and right
God.
for me.
She's right. It's
Wow.
the pink Yoshi, right? Isn't there a pink girl Yoshi?
Is there?
I think there is.
yeah, there is.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
think
that.
what's her name?
I don't know.
There's-
Rosalind? No, that's the princess.
Rosalina.
Rosalina? Rosalina?
yeah, there's definitely a pink girl Yoshi.
Who's Yoshi's bride? Or sister? Never know.
Who knows? But she's dressed like that. As
My
you
hiccups are bad.
as you eat warm sushi and
Warm sushi, eating relatively chilled sake with my Asian counterpart after we've had
It's just,
hours.
it's just pink Yoshi.
a
No freaking way.
enthralling night
Yeah.
of
They didn't even bother giving her a name.
No.
come on,
Well, let's
come
name
on,
her.
Nintendo.
Let's name her
It's probably Marlies.
Marlies.
Rebecca.
Rebecca. Oh no, it's got to be Japanese, right? Yosha.
Yosho.
Yosho.
No, Yosho's masculine. Yosha. The A is feminine.
I don't think that's how that works.
I don't speak Latin.
So when do they get spicy?
So they finished their excellent meal of sushi and sake, and
It's a $60 meal. We better have enjoyed it.
oh my gosh, yeah. And then
They heat it up in the
they-
microwave.
What? We're heating up sushi. In
They're
the
like, the
microwave.
sushi got cold.
Oh, it's a little bit too raw. We might as well
We might as-
heat it up a
might as
little
well
bit.
fucking microwave. Better
Let's kill the bacteria from the back of that Honda Civic.
let's nuke this bitch.
1100 watts straight.
His wife
to-
says too
Straight-
soon.
Too soon. She says we should go do something else.
but in
But
broken
in
broken English.
So
I can't
So
do
you
the
guys
fake
go.
accent.
You guys go for a ride in her hot hatch.
Or what?
Her hot.
The heck is that?
Oh my gosh! Like a
What's on
like a like a ricer. Oh my gosh! Like a rice mobile.
Because she's Asian?
Of course.
What
And
the
her
heck is a rice mobile?
and her 2000
It's
Civic.
like a smart car?
Just any freaking little crappy hatchback. That's some
In a-
teenage boys
I'm sorry,
driving
a rice
around.
burner.
Yeah.
You never fat muffler. You get in the passenger seat.
Whoa.
It's
That
pink.
muffler.
Pink.
Has
got-
some cherry bombs on it.
Yeah. It's got like a fluffy steering wheel.
She's a rich e-girl. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Steering
I mean, you
wheel.
already got the pods. Like,
She's got the dice.
yeah, she's got the dice.
Fuzzy pink dice.
She takes you drifting for the night. She's also a drift king.
Yeah, she's
Queen.
a
Drift queen.
They call her DQ.
DQ. Dairy Queen. She's a chubby Asian.
Whatever.
Her name has double meanings.
Whatever you're down for.
That's why she heats up her rice in the microwave.
You go watch an anime show at whatever movie theater is playing.
Cinemark.
Yeah, perfect. And you roll back to your 1-bedroom studio with your dual
They're-
pods.
They're replaying Spirited Away for the 20th time.
I've
this
never
month.
seen it.
What?
I've never seen Spirited Away.
Is that an anime show?
I think it's a movie
It's
from like the 2000s.
the most popular animated movie ever.
I've heard of it. I've seen
That
pictures
is like the
of it.
bare minimum. If you're a self-proclaimed like
Anime lover.
anime lover, like
Whoops.
that's it. Like this is the first thing.
You start
watch.
getting hot and heavy in the theater.
Ooh.
Ooh.
It's
Yeah.
one of those
Spirited
theaters.
Away
Yeah, it's one of
and
those theaters.
Kiki's.
Like what's
Well,
his name?
no one else is there besides you and your
Oh,
DQ.
my DQ.
That
My
movie?
beautiful
You never
DQ.
saw that? Really?
No, I was too old for anime.
This
forgot-
is this is old. Like this, what 2001?
Forgot the name of that
This
guy.
is like
Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, similar to Pee Wee Herman
Yep.
in the back.
Pee Wee Herman
very
Theater.
popular. What? Oh gosh, yeah.
Rest in peace.
were we talking about that on this show before?
I don't
Pee Wee
remember.
Herman?
He died.
Yeah, and he got caught in the back of
Yeah,
the movie theater.
He was
No,
watching.
he was.
Well,
I think he went to the bathroom.
No. He was in the back of the theater and he got caught.
it was
but he
one of
went
those
to, like, a-
movie theaters.
But
He
it
went
was-
to a porn theater.
Yes.
Yeah, it
Theater
was.
where you-
It was a pornographic theater. He was
Yeah.
watching. Fun fact: do you know what the name of the movie he was watching was?
Shrek 2.
Nope.
Uncut.
Bigger, Longer, Uncut.
I don't know.
Do you know?
No.
It was Nurse Nancy.
Nurse Nancy.
Nurse Nancy is the name of the film. I don't remember why I know that, but
I
I
don't know
looked it
what
up
that
for
is.
some reason. Somebody asked.
You looked it up. You watched.
Did you watch it?
No.
Did you watch it with DQ?
It's stuck
Yeah.
in my.
You wanted to see
It's
what
stuck
all
in
the
my
hype
brain.
was about.
Yeah, I was like, what did he actually do?
If Pee Wee was into
Yeah,
it.
I wasn't allowed to watch Pee Wee Herman as a child because of that. He was a
Really?
yeah, he was considered a
Spike.
I used to watch Pee Wee Herman before he
Margie.
ever went to that.
do what?
Yeah.
You were into Pee Wee before he did that?
Yeah.
Either, die a hero or live long enough to become the villain, I guess.
I liked Pee Wee Herman after it happened, but I didn't know that happened. So I was unknowingly.
It's like
watching
Michael Jackson, right? Like people didn't know he was a terrible person. My high school was across from his Neverland Ranch.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, and so we went over there to the park. We didn't see him, but we did see every once in a while. We'd see his limo coming to Neverland.
The school bus.
Have you ever been there?
Yeah, to Neverland.
No way.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that was a
It was
bad
old-
Are
ultra
you
creepy.
kidding?
that
No,
was a bad joke.
there was he had like a zoo and then a movie theater. So I watched Matrix 2 in his movie theater.
What?
My gosh, that's wild.
Yeah.
So
So-
a resident Neverland ranch
You're a-
person.
You're a victim.
No, the school was right across.
Oh
I went to a
my
boarding
gosh.
school. and
There's
the-
videos of you in a basement somewhere.
oh, I guarantee it. Yeah. So the movie theater was ultra creepy. So it was like
I bet.
a standard movie theater with like it was like a celebrities movie theater.
With
So it,
kid
had
size seats only.
it had big seats, but it had 3 glass windows in the back
What?
with beds in the rooms behind those glass windows.
Why?
I-
the heck are
I'm
the,
not Michael Jackson.
the heck are the beds for?
They're for Michael. So you get I don't know. so you
3
get a
beds?
3. There was a bed
Oh.
in each of those behind each of those glasses.
Oh
And
my
then
they-
he- we-
Separate rooms or it's all one room?
they were separate rooms from what I remember. And we were like,
How is
I
that not
was
a
in
red flag? Like you bring a group of school children to this.
We were in
know-
high school.
Oh, I was picturing you as like 9 or
No.
10.
But then, so they had stone, like bronze statues of like kids in them, like doing a ring around the rosy, and you could
What?
put yourself in between the kids. Like their little hands were out, and
Yeah.
there were little kids. He had a zoo, like a small zoo with a gorilla, and he looked really sad, like he had been,
Beaten.
No.
With
No,
bananas.
he's thinking something else.
He'd been touched. Like it looked like
Why is that the most normal part of your story? Is the gorilla?
There was a gorilla. There was giraffes. So we got to walk all over the place.
Is it free? Just
Yeah.
like walked in.
It's probably
was-
gone now, right?
I think that someone bought it. Yeah, but it was right across the street from the high school, so we would go over there all the time. And then so the high school owned like 300 acres, and you could
Dang,
like
it's
I
a
was
rich high school.
big into mountain biking, so I'd mountain bike up to the top of the hill, and Michael Jackson owned the land, obviously right next to it. So there was at the top of one of the peaks, there was a Michael Jackson, like a flag that he had put up there of his,
Dang it!
his symbol was like a kid in the moon, and I found a flag up there that was, and I snagged it, obviously.
Do you still have it?
Kept it?
I did, yeah. I still have it.
It was like
You
the
have to bring it to work.
DreamWorks logo.
It looks
it at
similar.
home?
Yeah, it looks similar to that DreamWorks logo.
Is it at home or do you have it Here.
You don't
I don't have it here,
You
but
don't
I have it.
fly that, dude.
like in Virginia?
Yeah.
You should bring it to
Yeah.
work.
That's probably worth
I think it's in
something.
storage.
Probably
That
worth a
would be
lot.
so. They're going to storage.
Yeah.
To pick up Big John.
Big John, yeah. Yeah, it was a crazy. Yeah, well, I remember seeing it on the ground. It was fallen. It was pretty
Oh my
tattered.
gosh.
But yeah, it was a crazy place. Like we would go, like we always saw, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's Michael Jackson's house, and every so often you'd see the limo driving them up, and then it was during the whole time that the scandal was going on, and then he died after I graduated. So like, but I would tell people like, oh yeah, lived across from his ranch, like, because it was right in Santa Barbara, right outside Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
It was you couldn't see anything from the outside, so you had to drive in. But we just all walked over. Like every year, he would let the high school come over and visit his ranch because it was open but it was not open to the public, so it was just open to us.
But he was never there.
No.
Anytime you guys went.
No, and we only went over once a year. But we got to, like I said, I got to see the Matrix in his theater, and the Matrix 2. And I remember,
You didn't get in the bed, did you?
no, because it was all closed off. But so like,
There's probably a reason.
it was pretty cool because he had like, it was like a movie theater. So like when you first came in, there was like a concession stand, and they were like giving out whatever you wanted. It was all free, and I just remember thinking like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I'm in a junior, or, I think it was a junior in high school, and I'm like, oh, look at all this free candy, and like they gave us ice cream. It was awesome. And then I remember looking back at the end of the movie and being like, oh, what are those creepy ass windows with? Oh, there's a bed behind there. Like, what the?
Were they two-way mirrors? Did you not?
I think it was
see
just straight glass.
Well, then it'd be a mirror.
Huh?
Do you want to take a break?
to
Are you all right?
fix myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want a break?
I don't know why I have the daggone.
Your ideal romantic evening.
My ideal romantic evening.
Yeah. Let's see if it's anything like T's.
No. I think a lot of people have a misconception about what my perceived romance life is like.
T freeze.
T-freeze.
It's not a pod,
Who?
not a gaming pod.
No, not a gaming pod. I have seen those. I feel like not claustrophobic. I don't know. I don't think I would do well with one of those. I think it'd be fun for a while. My ideal evening. So it would start off with me taking the missus, what have you, uh, to a nice. Uh, I'm very classical when it comes to my evenings out. So it'd be like some sort of show, movie, theater production, classical orchestra, what have you thing. Something that we could both watch together next to each other.
Like
Uh,
a play or a musical?
Either.
Do you prefer one over the other?
Not really. I mean, I think I prefer plays only because I kind of get annoyed if every 20 minutes somebody breaks out in a song, especially when I
It's
think,
more than that.
yeah, when I think to myself, it's like this is pretty unnecessary. Like you could have just kept talking. I would have gotten the gist of this conversation pretty quickly. But no, you had to go on a 5 minute song with a chorus that repeats 3 times and two different verses that really only tell me a few sentences of story at a time. But I guess it's fun. Like Disney's pretty neat. Um, and then after that, I would drive from the theater, pleasurable experience, to uh, a restaurant, ideally a nice restaurant, not like 4 star, 5 star, because I can't afford that. But I mean, I guess technically I could, but my ideal dates would be something that I could do like spontaneously. Like I want the dates that I want to do, I want to be able to do them weekly at least. Every other week is what I would want someone to expect of me. Um, and then going to either her favorite restaurant or a restaurant that at least closely resembles to her favorite. Usually, I like to do like uh, gift gestures. Like if you ask my family, I think most of them will agree when they ask, or when if you ask them like, does Alec give good gifts? Like I like to think that my gifts are pretty solid. Either you,
That's what you think.
I mean, that's what I've been told. Like I'm the kind of person where, yeah, I don't focus a lot on big picture things, but like if I'm having a conversation with you and then you tell me offhand, some minor detail that I pick up on, it's going to stick in my brain for years.
You want them to know that you're paying attention.
Yeah. Or I want them to know that I'm paying attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, my dad always used to tell us, my brother and I, about how we would play with our Red Ryder BB gun. And he would always say, man, I've always wanted a lever action uh, rifle to have. And he has always said that when I was a kid. And then he stopped telling us that. And then, when I got a good sized check
When you
from,
turned 15, you
yeah,
went out and bought a rifle.
when I turned 15, I went to Walmart. No, it's within the past few years, I got my Christmas bonus, and then I took that to a store and I bought his dream gun for my dad, and then my brother, I bought a similar rifle with a scope on it because it was also his dream gun, and they were very surprised because they were not expecting it, and then also I did the same thing for my sister. Not a gun. She, she,
Why not?
well, because she didn't want a gun. She had mentioned needing help with some medical treatments that I ended up paying for to respect her privacy. I'm not going to mention what they are unless she tells me I can talk about them. And then my my mom and my stepdad like to take baths, so I bought them a new tub. And being able to provide those kinds of things, like I love making people feel good with like resources that I have. And I can't do much.
Those are all big ticket items.
Oh yeah, I spend a lot of money.
You say you don't focus on the big picture, but those are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't buy anyone a bathtub.
What?
I've never
Bathtub,
bought a
guns,
bathtub.
medical surgeries,
Yeah. I
those
mean,
are all big.
it would. So when I get somebody something, like I like to get them something that they would not buy themselves, and two, uh, would not waste their own resources to acquire. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to buy you groceries because you're going to buy yourself groceries. I'm going to get you, uh, I really can't think of anything to get you. Like, 'cause
Wow.
we,
Thanks.
it's, I can't think of anything right now. Like,
So back to your date though.
oh yeah. So depending on how long I'd known her, like, knowing me longer, the gifts definitely get better. Like, those gifts are like from the accumulation of 25 years of built up knowledge. But uh, yeah, the longer you know me, the better things get for you. And so I would get her something and present it to her probably after the show, and then we would go to a nice restaurant afterwards. I would get good service stuff.
Tip well.
Yeah, tip well, and make sure she knows it.
Yeah.
Oh, what, you weren't supposed to look at the check?
Wow, $100
Wow.
tip.
Holy cow!
Oh wow, look at that tip.
What a nice guy. No, but
All
then
about the tip.
yeah, only the tip, and then and then after that, a thing that I am a big fan of that I don't get to do a lot, but I would love to do it with somebody that I like care for, is after eating at a restaurant, going outside, particularly on like a spring or a fall night, and being able to look up and watch the sky. That's something I love, sky gazing. Ever since I was a kid, I would do that. I would go outside, be in the backyard, look up. Even if it's just cloud watching, but more so in the stars. Um, and then I guess go back inside.
For
For a
But
to go to Pound Town.
depends on if we're married or not. You know,
You just put it out there.
retire for the night.
if you're not married, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
If you are married,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, you're not going to go to Pound Town.
That's shitty. I'm tired.
if she wants.
Yeah.
It's,
If she's into it at that time.
Consent.
But either way,
he's a very.
so you're a
It's a
classic
very classical.
Yeah.
You're a
dude,
classic romantic.
I love a lot of like very intimate time spent with a person. It doesn't have to be physical, but
On your cell phone.
yeah, on myself. Yeah, I don't get to spend a lot of time with people one on one. So when I do, I like to make the most of it. And even not talking, I do like to just be one on one with somebody. Like if I really like somebody, I'm completely fine sitting there in just peace and quiet. Like car rides, whenever I have friends, sometimes I don't even talk, but I do like to have somebody there with me.
Just driving silently.
I don't
as long as
listen
it's
to the
not
radio.
awkward.
I don't listen to the radio very often. I mean, people can talk if they want to, but I'm the kind of person where like just existing with somebody I like, where I'm accustomed to being with, is fine enough for me.
I appreciate that. I would say if you're sitting there awkwardly silent, though, it means that you're probably not the right people for each other. I've been married for.
I think it might mean that you are the perfect person for each other, though, because like
If it's
It
awkward, what I'm saying
depends
is
on
if
the
it's awkward.
awkward
If it's
silence.
awkward.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
if it's awkward, yeah, but it's hard for me to make it awkward. Like, okay, I guess from my point of view, it's hard for it to be awkward for me. I guess on the other end, I don't know all the time how the other person is feeling,
Well,
but
what I noticed about you is that you can't let a moment be silent.
That's
You
what I'm
will-
saying.
He'll
can,
start
but-
making noises.
we are not
Right.
intimate with each other.
It doesn't
you
even
son
have
of
to
a
be
bean.
just me and you. Like if it starts getting quiet or like people stop talking, like
Yeah,
he
noises
makes noises.
come out of his mouth. Which I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have seen you. And
Make
was
noises
weird.
to myself.
I walked by and I was like,
F-
are you okay?
what the F is he doing? Like, to be fair to myself, but majority of the time you see me, I am hopped up on caffeine. And the majority of the time you see me, we are out with other friends, and I just want to make sure everyone's having a good time. I can't be quiet around friends. That's really hard because I feel like if I'm quiet, knowing everyone's place in our friend group, if I'm quiet, something is not right.
So he starts making noises.
To make weird noises to
Yeah.
make it more awkward, just to make it more awkward, or just to realize to break the silence.
Both. Sometimes more awkward can lead into wonderful places.
I don't know about that. I'm gonna
You know what I'm
agree
saying?
to disagree.
I appreciate silence.
Oh, okay.
I-
Lessons learned.
I appreciate silence. You know, now been married for
Yeah.
almost 15 years, and like obviously there's been periods of
long
silence. So it's not like there's going to be times when it's in long car rides, right? Like we've driven from
Yeah.
One coast to the other, and
Mhm.
it's been quiet, and I think that's fine. But for the most part, I think a lot of times we listen to the radio or music, and so like that is more of a pastime, I would say, than even just the conversations of talking. I feel like at some point you get to know the person pretty well, so like most
Yeah.
of the stories you've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing new.
Yeah, there's little
Really?
new.
Well, because you and your significant other have known each other like the majority of your lives.
Yeah, it's weird. Like
The
Being
person
al-
that I'm going to be with, most likely that will not be true for.
doing this show, like telling stories of the past, like has made me realize like every story I've told, like my wife was there, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess she has heard this story. And wow, we've been together for like the majority of my life, of the things that I can remember at least.
I mean, that's nice. That's something that I wish I could have, but
Yeah.
I think that's not going to be the case.
But I'm not talking about just like in a marriage or like relationship or an intimate relationship setting, like even like in college or being with a random friend group or being with random people. Like a lot of people really do like talking, especially like in classroom setting. People just love to hear themselves talk,
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
and
Yeah.
the most frustrating thing to me going through college is like listening to other people, I don't know, try to show off to the professor.
Yeah, feeling like they have to be the know-all.
They'll like raise their hand and they'll like, well, this is what I thought of this passage, and like, it reminded me of this and blah blah blah, and then they like start quoting like some philosopher or something, and I'm just like the rest of the class just sitting there like, oh my gosh, dude, shut up! Like we're paying money for this person to tell us about things and to teach us, like not for you to freaking sit there and babble, and like I'm just wasting my time sitting here listening to this freaking idiot
I think that's with
try to
most
show off.
lectures, right? In like most like classroom environments, there's 9 times out of 10 there's someone in there that wants to speak, whether it's at the beginning or at the end, or or show off their breadth of knowledge that
Yeah.
you personally don't give a shit about.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's ultra frustrating, and they can't just get through the whatever the lecture is, and you're just sitting there like, shut the fuck up.
Like silence is so important in that scenario to me. I'm like, I just want to get through the material that we are here to learn.
Yes.
I just want to not think. I just want to take in all this knowledge. And now, whatever, this dude that has had less experience than me is sitting there freaking jibber jabbing, like, and
Even like when
you can't like just turn around and be like, dude, shut up. Like no one cares.
and I've given lectures, and a lot of times those people will throw me off with some of the input that they want to give.
Yeah, they'll try to think of some like deep question and like try to like rabbit hole it somewhere else. towards something that they know,
Right.
and then it throws off the professor or throws off the lecturer, and like they weren't planning on taking it that direction. You're just like,
Yeah. There's definitely times when
Yep.
you have to like completely switch gears when you're with when they should just be listening to what you're saying and then moving on. And you're like, look, dude, I don't care. Just that doesn't apply right now. So shut the fuck up. But you can't say that, right? Like,
I wish
there's
people
plenty of
would.
times when I'm just like,
I wish you would, or the
got it,
professor.
dog. Like, moving on next. Like, thank you for your invalid input.
I mean, I have noticed, like, I've noticed you reply to people specifically, like, yeah, okay, and then like go back to what you were saying after they just rambled for like 5 minutes. Yeah, okay. Back to this.
Moving on.
I will not cut someone off, but I will definitely
Not
move on.
answer.
Oh,
More
that sounds
people need
cool.
that. Like a lot of people will say like we need to bring back bullying, and
Oh,
it's like
100%.
it's like I don't believe in like just beating up people randomly, but like people acting weird, like they need to be like they need to be
Straightened out.
corrected. They need to be straightened out by society and by like normal people. Like I think normal is a correct term. Like I don't know why people are so against like normalizing things and the word normal. Like if someone is acting stupid or weird in a school or around a group of people, then they should know that they're being weird and stupid.
Yes, 100%. I think you need to the norms that we've moved away from norms, the societal norms, in quotes, and I think we've pushed that. And now, if you're not normal, that's the cool thing. But
yeah,
I think it's okay to just verbally smash people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
people do. They need to like freaking smack down back into like where they are.
Yeah, I think that's okay. In you don't have to. There's a difference in belittling someone and telling them that they're wrong, right? You don't have to name call them, but you can course correct them by telling them that they're retarded. Oh, that sounds retarded. What you just said was completely full of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Michael Scott. You don't call retarded people retards, but you call your friends retarded when they're acting retarded.
Yeah. I would never.
It was like the South Park episode where they. There's a South Park episode where they talk about there's like a guy that they're in court and they're like they're talking about.
I'm trying to think of which one you're talking about.
There's a motorcyclist that drives by.
Oh, the motorcycle riders. Yeah, they call them. They call them fags.
They call them fags, and they're like, well, you can't say that. Like, well, if a Harley driver rides his motorcycle by and is super loud and obnoxious at 3 a.m, like, what would you call him? A fag.
Exactly. Yeah, they're asking like the the judges on the court or whatever. Like, okay, they're like, you can't say that. It's like if someone's revving up real loud right next to you, what are you thinking in your head? I'm thinking they're a faggot. And then the kids are like, exactly.
Yeah,
that's all we mean by it. And then they're like, you can't say that because like that's offensive to like these people. And they're like pointing at like the gay guy or something. And they're like, no, not those kind. We're talking about those kind. And like pointing at the motorcycle riders.
Yeah, I remember growing up and the word gay was used, I don't know, since I was in 3rd grade. And we used it
when you were in the 3rd grade, you thought
we would call people, we'd be like, oh, that's gay. Like, gay,
I understand.
gay. Like,
you understand the reference.
But like, everyone used that word. But like, and I understand that there are people that are homosexual that don't like that term, right? But that was just the term that we used. Was like instead of saying
it was the time.
what a fuckwad, like, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like what a piece, like you didn't call people a piece of shit. Like you would just be like, oh, gay, like,
yeah.
that was the thing that you said, and at some point it was like, societally banned because that was insensitive. But like now, if I use a different term like "what a shitbird," like I feel like that's more derogatory than a different term. What a shit! Like this
Yeah.
fucking shitbird. Like if I'm using foul language to describe someone, like people are gonna dislike that just as much as they're gonna dislike the other term. Like
Yeah.
so,
Everyone, there's always room for offense.
right.
Like anyone can take offense to anything. One, and two, anything you say can be misconstrued to be offensive.
Right. I think we just need to
Yeah.
grow up a little bit and not be such a
Wussies. Yeah, we definitely are like wussifying our country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to tell your Walgreens story?
Now, it's
Yeah.
a long story.
Long?
Is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
It's relatively long.
let me wrap it up. It's been a while. Yeah. We'll wrap it up.
What's the time?
Huh?
What's the time?
We're at 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
These are the weird noises. But
Yeah, here this is what he does.
I
I don't know what he's trying to do.
had to see the spikes.
these are the weird noises and silences he's talking about.
Yeah.
Look, that was a big one. Look at that. That line is me.
Thanks, T Free, for coming on the show.
Oh
Thanks,
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Thank you.
Today was
for
a
having me.
blast.
Yeah.
From
I don't know.
past.
Bottom of our hearts.
Our catchphrase. Blast from the past.
I don't know.
Apparently, that's
what?
not your
Our
catchphrase.
sacred,
Yeah. What catchphrase?
our sacred catchphrase. Blast from the past.
Yeah, I guess.
No, it's not. We'll come up with a better one.
Okay.
Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo.
I think it's male gigolo.
Yeah.
No, that's the European Gigolo is the sequel.
It is. You're right.
Oh.
It's the one I've seen. I haven't seen Male Gigolo.
And it's way better.
The European one?
No, the
The
original.
male one.
Is he in America?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
wow. I skipped it.
You've been missing.
I saw him in
It's
Europe.
like watching. It's like watching like Lord of the Rings, like just the second one, and being like, why did Frodo get over here?
What's the second one?
I don't know.
How did he get over here?
Who the hell is this guy?
What are these eagles and how do they get there?
I think this is the third one.
It's been years since I've seen them.
I just watched them and I can't remember
Really?
the Return of the King.
I don't know. Twin Towers?
Twin Towers is
Yeah.
the
Two Towers.
Two
Sorry,
Towers.
Two Towers.
Second one?
Two
Not
Towers.
the Twin Towers.
Not the Twin Towers. Two Towers. And Fellowship of the King.
Yeah.
And
the Fellowship of the Rings.
The Ring.
The
Fellowship
Rings.
of the Rings. Fellowship of the Ring. Well, there's
Fellowship
only
of the
one
Ring.
ring, right? Well, there's a bunch of rings, but there's only like one ring.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then Return of the King.
Thanks for providing today's drinks and the
Oh, yeah.
smoke that went on the drinks.
Yeah, of
It was
course.
Very cool.
The smoke.
It was very cool.
We call
New
him
experience.
Smoky Boy.
And we hope to have you back on.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
look forward to having you back on. There was the Dadgummit podcast with Brandon Alec and today's guest, Mr. T himself. New episodes releasing every Monday, roughly in the afternoon.
Every Monday. No, in the morning.
Monday morning, apparently.
It's been every morning.
I
You
wouldn't.
pay attention.
I wouldn't know. If you have any questions for our guests or the not guests, let us know in the comments or DM us. I don't know how YouTube works. If you enjoy our content, like, comment, subscribe, what have you.
Bye bye. Have a good week.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.